Welcome back to another episode of Laugh Your Way to the Top. I'm Austin Fain. Today, joining us, the legendary Mr. Tyler Pedersen. Okay, Eric, if you want to use your proper name, but Tyler is what
Go by Tyler, but yeah.
Goes by Tyler. I had to learn that the hard way of several years of trying to figure out what your real name was and what you want to get called by. But his expertise spans many different subjects. He's been a cool friend. He's one of the first stamped metal roofing products that we did back in the day. He's been a friend of Perfect Steel for a long time. We just recently started working together, which has been super fantastic for Perfect Steel. And he's trying to get his new consulting group off the ground. So it has a bunch of different value for him coming on the podcast today, talking about what he does and letting us know how he does things, how he views the world, because he's very analytical, where I am up in the clouds and I'm the idea guy, and a lot of those things make sense to me in my head, but I have no way to translate those on paper, and that's what Tyler does so well. So Tyler, welcome to the podcast, and I hope that was a good enough intro for you, but that's the best I can do. Other than that, everything else is not rehearsed. We don't go over any talking points. We're just going to have a conversation. He did bring me one of the nicest cigars I have ever seen. This is a Cohiba?
Yeah.
It's Cohiba Habana Edición Limitada 2017. You do your own research at home. He says $400 a stick. I guess that's not what you paid for, 6-7 years ago.
No, they were $150 a stick. I thought they were expensive. They were over $1,000 a box for a box of 10, and now you're getting, do the math, $300, $3,500 to $4,000 for the box of 10. So.
Spoil me. And just for this lazy old podcast, which we're still looking for sponsors. If you guys want to sponsor, Laugh Your Way to the Top, feel free to reach out on any of the platforms. We've got more than a dozen episodes already. We're growing in popularity, and we're looking for stuff in the roofing industry, stuff in the maybe the apparel, the work gear industry, things like that. Reach out, residential at perfectsteelsolutions.com. So, Eric, Tyler fucking sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people, when I meet them and I say, hey, I'm Tyler Pedersen, you know what they tell me?
What?
Like, cool, nice to meet you. And then years go by, and they find out my name's Eric, and they thought I've been lying to them for all these years.
I never thought that, but I could never decipher which, because we didn't talk enough to get it down.
Right.
We talked once every 3 months, and that wasn't
That's
enough
true.
to me to be like, his name is definitely Tyler.
Yeah, because we would talk at Rudy's.
And then I also had your financials, so I had your app and everything
That's
like
true,
that.
yeah.
And so I thought, well, legally, his name, I know it's Eric, so I can't mess it up, and he can only correct me if I'm use Eric. So why do you go by Tyler instead of Eric? I never asked you that.
We're starting off strong tonight.
Yeah, bro, let's get into it.
Yeah, so I was named after my dad, and his name was Eric. So I always grew up being known as Tyler. And,
For the sake of confusion.
Yeah, for the sake of confusion. So he passed away in January, but now, I'm like, everyone's like, hey, do you go by Eric or Tyler? I'm like, Tyler, but I'm okay being called Eric now because I guess there's only me left, right? And so
It's just you.
just kind of it's almost like a legacy as well. So, and it's kind of cool to be named after your dad.
You can do the last 40, Eric, if you want. You did the first, 30 or so. Tyler, you can do the next one, Eric. It's 2023.
That's true.
You can do it as a woman.
Well,
if you want.
I have 2 girls, so
Yeah.
I can't name any girls.
They're kind of solidified in that.
Right,
But Tyler, what do you do for Perfect Steel?
So I am pretty much a fractional CFO. You like to call me?
I like mercenary
CFO.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah, so what I do is Austin and I had a conversation probably 2 years ago, and we were talking about his business, and he's like, hey, here's what I got going on. I went home and pretty much did a 2-page summary of what I thought of his business, what he could improve, what his strengths were, and stuff like that. He comes to me, we have a conversation in March of this year. He's like, I don't know my costs in a lot of things. Like, I know it, but I don't know if I'm right. I'm just kind of going off a couple years and stuff like that. So what I do is I go in the books, look at what cost analysis are, what if jobs are profitable, pretty much anything that deals with the financials and an analysis, I will completely do. So
you're a numbers guy.
I'm a numbers guy, man. And it's been, I thought it was going to be pretty easy to get through your financials, but you got a pretty complex situation here. And it's been a really good project for me in getting to know more about your company and how I can help you out.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people probably that have a different background than me, obviously I'm not a smart guy. Like I'm not conventionally college graduate. I'm not classically trained in business. No one ever walked me through all this stuff. I just kind of found my way, through trial and error, and made a lot of good decisions along the way. I'm not taking anything away from myself, but like all the minutia that the hard costs, I just use those.
Yep.
And there's that soft stuff in there too that just like, I mean, there's no one that calculates how much gloves does each employee wear? How many pens do we buy a year? How much does the internet cost? How does that much go to your overhead? Some of the smaller stuff that really adds up to the $100,000 a year in, disposable stuff, like how that goes in there. How long are they taking to drive to these places? Yep. And, what's the cost of training a new employee and all those things that it's more opportunity cost involved that you can't put a thing on. You put a pen in all that. And I'm really excited. You haven't brought all of it today. We just started a couple months ago. But I'm really excited to see where that goes because my mind doesn't think like that at all. Like I can look at the big numbers and the slightly less big numbers and then all the small stuff. I'm just like, I don't know if it's making sense. I know that we're making money.
Yeah,
and we are.
Yeah, you are.
But we don't know all the minutia. And I think it's really important for a lot of people that own businesses out there to, my dad always says, there's good accounting and that will cost you money, and there's really bad accounting that will cost you even more money.
Right.
And so I'm trying to play that up and go, okay, well, I've done decent accounting for years. Now let's try to step it up a little bit and fill if there's any gaps. We don't know if there is yet. We're not done. There's probably are. But like if there is gaps, let's figure out what they are. Am I making money on the windows? Am I losing money on the windows? Am I making money on gutters, losing money? We're obviously making money on the roofs. We do a shit ton of roofs. And that's a very easy cost. Metal comes in, we make metal, we send it out, we do a job. Yep. Pretty easy to do that one. Everything else gets a little bit more stuff. We get different trim levels from different places. We get different models from different places, that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I'm just starting on the roofs right now. And where I think business owners kind of get into trouble is like when things are good, man. You just keep paying the bills, keep paying the bills, keep paying the bills. And then once things start slowing down or you get caught up, and then, maybe you don't find more work, right? Maybe you lose a couple of salespeople. Maybe you lose 10 canvassers, right? And then things get a little bit slower. Hey, what now? As things start getting slower, how does that affect my expenses? And we want to make sure we're ahead of that and we want to be proactive and not reactive to that and stuff like that. And so and what we're doing right now is making sure your square cost is right in line from year after year after year, right? Yeah. And making sure we know the break even into each roof.
Yeah, we've only really had one price increase over the last 6 years,
right?
Which is nuts.
Yeah, that's
everyone
crazy.
Else, they're raising it every 3-6 months because they're following the up and down. I'm going, I probably need to raise it a little bit right after COVID. Stuff was scarce. People were finding it hard to work, and then that hurt distribution lines, and that really increased the cost. Gas went up a ton. You remember the gas stuff. And so I was like, well, to cover that, I don't know what I have to cover, but I think we should do a mediocre increase.
Yep.
And that's what we did. And then since then, we've never done one. So it would be fun to see if I did it at a good time. If I didn't do it at a good time, should have been done. Do we have to do it again? Could I make my prices lower? It'd be cool to be more competitive on the market. Not that we get beat out that much. The way our prices are, which is telling me market-wise, we're either saving a lot of money by doing it in-house, metal-wise, or I can do it for cheaper and be more competitive and just sweep everybody if there's enough margin in there still. So I'm super excited about that.
And I think the next thing is a lot of businesses don't project out where their cash flow is going to be for the next 12 months, right? or even their projections for the next 12 months.
Right.
And there's difference between projections and cash flow, which is pretty important, in my opinion, for business owners. And that's one thing I want to bring to the table for you, is really honing in each month is what's our starting cash, what's our projected inflows, what is our projected outflows, and really understanding like, hey, do we need to borrow from the line of credit? If so, what's the cost of capital on that? And really getting as efficient as possible on the financials and the workflow.
Yeah.
So.
You asked me the other day, like, well, how much is on your line of credit? I was like, honestly, bro, we have not used it since the 10th day in business. Like, since we started the factory, we bought coils with it, and that's it. So, I don't know.
Did you pay that off?
I don't know. Like,
paid off.
You know, like, it's just that one of those things, like, I guess we're doing pretty good.
I should pay it off for you tomorrow.
You could. There's one more day left in the week. You could still do it.
You need it paid off.
Yeah.
It's going to save you money.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with saving money. We got it now. Tyler's a family man. I like to look up to Tyler when I think about like people that have it together and all that stuff. You know, he's been a pretty consistent dude. When I met him years ago and doing it, like we did a roof for him that was like 30 or so K, and he, as a young man, came out of pocket for most of that stuff. And I was like, well, how does that dude have it together? And he's the same age as me. Like, how does that happen? Like, you know, I just went $2 million in debt at that time, you know, so like,
good debt,
you know, well, I mean, yeah, but like, you know, like, how does that dude have, you know, that? And then throughout the years, like, you get into a lot of stuff. You were in the banking world, helping out farmers. You got into crypto at a very key point when crypto was a bull market, for lack of a better term.
Well, it wasn't even bull market then, so.
Yeah, and well, it wasn't then, but then it became one, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, then now, after that subsided and all that kind of stuff, now you're going into more of a consulting group, because I think you have a lot to offer a lot of different people in a lot of different aspects. Like, you know, you have a couple contracts with people that do tool and die and doing some forensic accounting for them, putting them on a good track. I think that people would benefit from your services, which is what's your one-room consulting?
The one-room group.
One-room group.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
It's biblical. So,
okay.
So it's talking about family man. So we go back to the birth of our second daughter, right? And that was June of 2021. And my wife and I were a pretty good team together, I would say. And we try to.
Sadie is sick with it.
She is awesome. So we try to plan like a lot of things out, right? And with anything in life, if you don't have a plan, usually you just kind of go by the wayside, and a lot of bumps in the road can come up. But when you have a plan, you know to kind of help prepare for those and things like that. And so I think everything you do in life, you should plan for. If you're trading, if you're in business, if you're going to have a baby, right? Probably should have a plan. So we had a plan. It went great for our first child. Second child comes along, got some complications. We got a nurse in there that doesn't want to follow our plan or anything like that. It was COVID, so rules had changed and things like that.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, so, you know, we had some complications. That nurse left and another nurse got brought on. And she followed our plan to a T and really helped us out. And without that nurse, we probably would have been laboring for a longer time than what we did. I mean, the shift change came in, I think, at 5:30 or 6, and we had the baby by 9:27. So it was super quick. So I got to thinking, like, hey, we had our midwife, we had our nurse, we had myself as a coach for my wife giving birth. What would it look like for business owners if they had all of their team in one room, right? And the one room can be under a building, it can be on a Zoom call. Just what would it look like for everyone to collaborate? That's your lawyer, that's your accountant, that's like your CFO, your CEO, COO, CTO, whatever you have. What does that look like if you get everyone in one room and get on the same page? You know, I think that you can achieve business a lot further and more. You can just go a lot farther when you have that one team in one group. So the one room group came like that. So I reference it back to the biblical time where Jesus and the disciples, when he was getting ready to die, right? He had the Last Supper, but it was in the upper room. And the upper room had a lot of things and a lot of great things that happened. So there's stories of the upper room. Jesus was preparing his disciples for his death to go out and spread the word about him and just preparing them almost for like battle, you know? So what would it look like if you prepared business owners for battle in one room? So that's how the one room group came to be. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
Me and a couple dudes, we just drank one night to come up with perfect steel solutions. Even though steel's not part of the equation at all, it sounds metal-esque and things, and we just want to come up with solutions for people. We want to be perfect, so we're like, this is it. It was like an aha moment. No biblical, no nothing, no nonsense, but we were all dumb, so it was the best we come up with. It's gone pretty good so far.
I think it's gone great, man.
It's been going pretty good.
And you go back to like, how do you have it all together? I think it's all real world experience and listening. I think, so I graduated from college, double major in finance and business management, but a lot of stuff that I used and learned in college, I don't use, right? I was so fortunate.
As with everybody.
Well, I wasn't fortunate. I graduated in 2009 from college. Terrible time to graduate, right? And found a banking job at Tower Bank. Was their credit underwriter for 3 years, and luckily had really good leadership and mentorship.
That's not a bad job.
No, it was great. I got to underwrite and look at a lot of commercial deals in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I mean, I understood which families ran the town, essentially.
True.
It's kind of interesting. And so, but I got to underwrite a lot of credit and learn from a lot of people and understand, hey, I do want to become a lender someday. So then that's why I made the jump over to Wells Fargo. They needed a credit underwriter pretty quickly. So I moved over there, started learning, the corporate culture, moved up into a banking role after being there for 6 months. I was a commercial banker in Fort Wayne, dealt with a lot of businesses in Fort Wayne, grew a portfolio pretty quickly. Then had the opportunity to learn agriculture. And I was like, there's not a lot of people that can do commercial lending and agriculture lending. It's very specific. And so
there's a lot of different ins and outs to agriculture. They get a lot more help.
Yeah.
And they're at a lot more disadvantage at different times. So that's why they get the help. And so you have to know the books.
The accounting's a lot different because you have a cash statement from a tax return. And if you just go off a tax return, you're behind on agriculture. But if you can do a year-end statement and convert cash to accrual, then you'll know the picture. And as a banker, that was one tool that I was able to do really quickly to then talk to my clients and say, hey, here's what's going on with your operation, and is it going good or going bad, and we could have those conversations. So what I learned and how I became good at what I did is just have good mentors, really work at it, practice, and just learn the craft pretty quickly. So
yeah, we decided the other day, me and Zach stayed up late one night because he's going to be in charge of the solar stuff that we get up going. And we decided that we're probably going to focus a lot on farming for the solar. They get a lot more tax credits and a lot more federal assistance when it comes to solar. And so we think that we might market to those things.
You know what they do, right? You take fields, right, that are by boxes, and you try to package those up, right, and do them on like 20, 30-year leases. And then the goal is to package those up to like a NIPSCO or...
Right, we're talking like not even that. We're talking about actually doing agriculture business on solar.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, we're not talking the conventional, you grow corn.
Right.
We're talking like the chickens, the cow, anything that'd be like a heated, cooled building, milking facilities, things like that consume a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
A shit ton of electricity.
Yeah.
And putting them on solar, because their payoff is so much quicker than the residential market. We're waiting 25, 30 years to pay it off in residential. You're looking at like less than 10 years, almost on every echo. If it's not going to be free, it could be like less than 10 years and it's paid itself off. And farming's generational. Like, it doesn't go away.
100%.
So like, I think that we could speak to those people a lot better.
Yeah.
We're trying to go after the residential market with solar, but I don't know how much you know about solar stuff, but
I researched actually quite a bit when when Elon Musk came out with that solar roof. I was like super interested, not on top of my steel roof. I was just interested in the whole thing. But I researched quite a bit about that. But that's really where I got, and it's probably changed since then.
There's net metering ended in Indiana. What net metering did was a 1-to-1 ratio, basically. So if you produced an extra credit, then they gave you a credit on your thing. So like in the summertime, obviously you're banking up credits. You're making way more power than what your house needs.
Right.
You're gone during the 8 to 5 which is when your solar panel is collecting the most power.
Yeah.
And then you come home and you use a little bit of it, right?
Right.
But you always have a little bit extra. Well, net metering ended. So the way to build credits in the wintertime, like when the sun's not out and you're not going to collect any energy pretty much at all, that would still give you a net zero bill because you would have so many credits built up in the summertime.
Right.
People in New Jersey and people like that, they make money with solar. They literally put solar on their house and make, hundreds of dollars a year,
Sure.
but they make money instead of paying for electricity. When net metering ended in Indiana, so did solar.
Interesting.
There was 20 different companies in Fort Wayne doing solar. There's one now, one or two.
Really?
Yeah, it killed everybody. And so what I did was I mopped up, and I found out who electrician-wise could still install solar.
Yep.
Who, because the marketing people aren't always the people that are installing your roof, almost never.
Right.
Same with roofing. The guy who sells you the roof is almost never the guy that's going to install the roof,
Right.
or at least the same entity. It's
Right.
always subcontracted to groups A and B. So the same thing happened with solar, and there was still one company, Mr. Electric, that I'm in talks with now, and he's the only one that can still install solar on a scale of any sort.
Yeah.
But he was doing 20, 30 jobs a month. Now he's doing 2, and so like we're looking to come in here and fill that need, but I can't go to customers and be like $60,000, $80,000 for a system, and you're going to be paid off in 25 years.
Can't do that now.
No one's going to care.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's going to care. Net metering, you're looking at 15 or so years. Maybe I could talk someone into that.
Right.
People are at their house for 15 years. That makes sense. But now at 25 years, you get nothing back from the power company. Only thing you got going for you is a 30%
Tax rebate? Yeah.
And people don't get those unless you have 30% of tax to rebate.
Right.
So if you make $40,000 a year and you get $6,000 back, you get $6,000. Like you're gonna have some fucking dough coming in to be able to write that much off to be able to get that tax money, and that tax money goes into your payment,
right,
not just into your pocket for most cases. So that's been a fun part to try to figure out. I don't know if it'll be a huge part of our business, but I definitely want to service the customers, especially if they're gonna get a lifetime roof. I feel like solar is a fucking okay thing to offer our people because there's people that ask us for it.
Yep.
There's no one to service them, and some people want it just because.
And when I first came in a couple months ago, Zach was going for his GC license, and you were going to do it all, and then you kind of pivoted because you're like, hey, it doesn't make sense on a cost basis for us to do this. So, like, I like how you're looking for a partner to help you out with that, to then be able to offer that as an added bonus to the clients. So
yeah, we start doing 10 a week. I'll bring it in-house.
Sure.
I'll bring it in-house 100%.
Sure.
But I don't think it'll be that. I think it's like going to be like a Mercedes-Benz sort of product. Like, could you get a Toyota Camry, do the same thing? Yeah, essentially. But some people feel better in a Mercedes, and that's what I want to give them. I'll give them the best for the money that can possibly be.
Yep.
But I don't think that is where, at least in Indiana, solar's kind of dead. But unless you go for commercial, which they get write-offs and they get tax breaks and they get help, and then they get 4 things for agriculture. I forget what they are. Don't do that to me. But like, there's even more for agricultural purposes, and it makes way more sense. So we're gonna try to do all that kind of stuff. But we just don't know. I don't think there's no margins at all. I mean, there's no margins.
No margins.
You would think I'm doing an $80,000 project, I'm making $20,000, I'm slaying it. No, there's like $5,000 into doing it. I'm like, that's a lot of work and a lot of money changing hands to make 5 Gs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And one of my other things I always like to say, and I think I said it on Alan's podcast a few podcasts ago, is like, I can't figure out the difference between, all right, Tyler, I want to make you a deal on your electricity.
Yep.
You're wanting panels, and it's going to be $80,000. Okay?
Yep.
And that's the system that you need, whatever. I'll also, instead of giving you panels, you still pay me $80,000. I give you no panels, and I pay your electricity for the next 30 years.
Right, yeah.
What's the difference? And I really don't have anyone. And I would love if someone could come on the podcast, solar expert, per se.
Yeah.
Don't be a salesperson, because like you'd be like, oh, well, the panels are worth something when you move and all this. I'm just talking from an energy standpoint.
Yep.
I'm talking about a cost if you're going to finance, take the 30%. Let's say they get the 30% tax rebate and they apply it to the loans and everything for Indiana who gets no net metering. Come and make it make sense for me. I will pay you to be on the podcast. I will pay you money to tell me that I'm wrong and to fix my stuff. Because of right now, that's why I'm not super hard for solar, because I thought it was amazing and everyone's doing it because they're doing like, you get panels for free.
And then net metering went away.
It killed everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now you still have electric bill during the wintertime and you're paying for panels.
Yep.
I don't know.
Sure.
But we'll see. I'm going to give my customers everything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, it's basically free. No, you're going to pay. But you'll save the earth some sort, but we'll see. The reason net metering went away too is like, I think we should talk about that. Everyone talks about that. It went away.
You're going to be the expert on net metering here soon.
Oh my God.
I have no clue about this, so I'm just listening. I'm learning.
The reason net metering went away is because there's no way accurately when people are doing their solar, they're getting, I mean, people are doing millions of dollars a month in solar in Indiana. And when they're doing that, they're generating their own power. The power company has no way to accurately plan out the next 10 years of power consumption. They don't know to build another plant. They don't know whether they're going to shut a plant down. They have no idea. It throws everything out of whack there.
Yeah.
It hurts the power companies. Not in the same sense you think like, oh, well, they're just mad because they're not making as much money.
Yeah.
No, they have to plan out how many new houses are going in, how many cities are expanding, how much the grid has to consume.
Yeah.
And when people are doing solar and they're doing net metering and they're doing all this stuff and getting, well, now there's power going back in. No one's using power.
Yeah.
Well, what do we do now? And so like, that's why it didn't get passed again.
Interesting.
So Ohio still has it. We'll probably do a lot of business in Ohio.
Does Michigan have it still too?
I don't know if Michigan has it. I don't know if they ever had it, but
Yeah,
Ohio has it for sure.
Interesting.
So we'll hit up Ohio. We can go about an hour in Ohio every way. So from Toledo down to like Richmond, Ohio, and things like that, we'll be able to get in there. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my whole dissertation on solar.
Net metering.
I really want to get it off the ground because I get excited about it because it's a new business. I've been doing roofing. I've been doing windows.
Yeah.
I've been doing gutters. I pretty much have that down. And I want the next thing now. Expansion would be cool for me, but I think that solar could be cool as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you brought me in as well because you do want to expand and do some other things.
Without having systems in place to make sure that we're doing what we should do on the broad strokes. I want to make sure that we're good, because I want to expand to lower than Indianapolis and take over all of Indiana and be the #1 metal roofing. Where no one does more metal roofing than Perfect Steel.
Yep. In Indiana.
In Indiana.
Yeah.
Just all of Indiana, we are the metal roofing people. If you get a metal roof, it's probably coming from Perfect Steel. That's what I want. But to be able to do that, there's cost accounting that needs to be done to know now I'm going to do it abroad. Basically, I'm going to do it 4 or 5 hours away. What's the next general step in that? Besides taking people and get a basis down there, do we have everything in order that makes sense? Or do we keep riding out this market? So now I have smart people like you come in and tell me all those things.
I'll try.
You will.
Do my best.
You've already done it. You've already made me nervous and very excited at the same time. Every time I talk to you, you're like, bro. Do you know what your over squares and under squares are? I'm like, I don't even want to know. Tell me all the numbers at once. Like, is it good? He goes, it's okay.
It's better than what it was. It got better. So
okay, we're fine.
We're getting closer. I think the next week or two. I always keep telling you that. It's like, hey, give me another week or two. But then I keep finding I need more data.
It's been 6 years, so I'm fine.
Yeah,
like, wait another week or two. It's been 6 years since I've had accurate stuff.
I've had my roof for 6 years.
You have. You were one of the first people. You didn't even get our fucking panel.
I got the stamp,
You
man.
got the stamps. And that's been going pretty good.
It's been great, man. When we moved into our house, we got our house for a pretty good deal. We live on 5 acres, and it was like 36 square house, I think.
Big
36.
square.
Huh?
Big squares.
Yeah, big squares. Couple peaks,
Yeah.
Pain in the ass is what it sounds like.
It's like a McMansion. That's what I like to say. Like, it's a McMansion.
No. But It's going well.
Yeah, like
we
what?
have algae on it though.
It's got to be 5,000 square feet.
No,
No,
3,800.
It looks like that. It looks like 5,000 square feet.
3,800, but yeah, so there was an option between the flat panel, like the flat panel is what you call it, right?
Yeah, we call it the
I call it
perfect panel.
I call it the barn
You call it
style,
barn style.
but
It's not, just so everyone
it's not.
understands
It looks beautiful on a lot of houses.
Yeah, every house.
Every house.
Some people are misguided and went stamped. It's fine.
Correct. But we got presented with the stamped, and my wife was like, I don't know. I like the stamped. I don't like the other style. Okay. And at that time, it was in the wintertime. You guys needed some work. You're like, hey, we'll do some deals. So the regular and the stamped, I mean, it made sense to us to go stamped because we're like, we're probably never going to get this deal again. And it was a good deal. Thank you for doing that.
No problem.
It probably...
We messed up hard. We messed up hard.
But
because back in the day, I had no idea all the cost, and I had no idea the product, and I had no idea all the stuff. And like with a more complicated house like Tyler's, there's a lot of peaks, a lot of valleys, a lot of dormers, a lot of hips, a lot of everything. And with all that, the cost of doing stamp goes way up. For a giant barn style house, 2 gables, things like that's very affordable. But all the extra parts you need for that, and so like of his $30,000, I charged him for his roof or whatever like that. 29,000 of it was product, and so I installed it for basically free.
Yeah.
But it was a good learning curve. We used it a lot. We sold a lot more off your house, using that as our marketing and everything like that. We did good.
I remember that. Yeah, you guys did use marketing. I think it probably got you probably.
Still to this day, like people have houses like yours that want stamped, and we still use your house as an example because it's just a good looking. It turned out good. I like it on your house.
Well, and by
I
the way,
don't like it on a lot of houses.
Yeah, and you weren't. Well, it didn't matter because you're not doing stamped in house anyway. So you weren't.
I'm doing it now in house, but
no,
I didn't do it back
time,
then, and whatever.
Yeah, you weren't doing stamped in house anyway. So yeah, it was. It's a beautiful roof though. I love it. When people come look at it, they don't even know it's a steel roof. So
no one knows. I had guys come look at the factory today. So my dad's friends. Hopefully, Simon becomes all the podcasts here soon. He's a little Romanian guy, great business leader in town. He was looking at it outside. We had a couple pallets of it outside. We have to keep stock of it, so that way if you need replacement parts. And he's like, "Why are you carrying shingles?" And I'm like, "I'm not carrying shingles. That is metal." And then they kick it with their foot. And they're like, "Oh, it's metal."
Yeah.
Okay. We probably, like I said, we don't do that many still. Like we probably do less than 6 a year.
really,
Yeah.
that's surprising.
Well, it's twice as expensive as
You gotta go on the lakes then.
even the lake people. Like,
Really?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you're thinking golf course, college professionals that retire out to the country, highfalutin, classy people are the only people getting stamped metal.
I'm just a regular guy.
Well, that is to be seen. But yeah, no, it doesn't. We talk people out of it a lot because I'm like, for half the money, you get the same basic principles: the heat reduction, and the cooling, the airflow, and the longevity.
We saw a reduction right away. Like in the first 6 months with our heating, or it would be in our cooling, heating and cooling bill.
air even passes within the panels and stuff.
And the
like
tariff
that.
wasn't bad on mine either, which is I think good for you guys. But let's talk about maintenance though, because I got a question. I know we've talked about this, but it might be good for the podcast. So I've got like green mold or algae growing on my roof, and you're like, just power wash it. Where does that come from? How would someone power wash it? Can you get that hired? Can you talk a little bit about that?
A lot of the bleed comes from Glioxapsomagma, which is a bacteria that grows in the limestone and the stones.
Okay.
It's a stone-coated metal shingle, and it's coated with the same stuff they coat asphalt with. It's the same exact stuff. And as that breaks down, you will get streaks and all that kind of stuff in there. If it's regular algae, like it's just algae, right? And that comes from like rotting leaves and all the other stuff. If you have, I don't remember trees being a big.
I don't have many
deal.
trees. I have a pine tree in the corner and then nothing on the other side. So that's why it's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting why you have it on your house.
And I don't know if it's
we don't
where
see
my
it a
house
lot.
is, or there's a guy who there's a cow barn down the road that we get a lot of smell from manure. I don't know if that how it. That
I don't think so.
But I'm curious. But
Yeah.
how do you maintain that? Or
There's
what's the
products. There's products out there. You put in a pressure washer and you go do it. Roof Max is a great person to reach out to for that. They do a lot of rejuvenations. We're talking underneath $1,000. They'll come out and get a guy pressure wash your roof, scrape off the algae, then pressure wash it and seal it with something.
Wait, I can get someone to come out and do that for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's super cheap too.
I'll be calling you Roof Master.
Roof Maxes is super cheap.
Yeah.
They're franchises. They're just guys with trailers that have these chemicals that do that, and they do it for shingle roofs as well. I think it's good. I've never had it done before, but a couple of my competitors do it, and it seems to be working out for them.
What should I do? Because it's when I talked to you, it was like a couple of sections. It's now spread.
Yeah, if I was you, there's no general bad things of having that on there. But you go to sell your house, do it right before. I would live with it. Technically, and I'm a roofing owner, I would live with it until you go to sell the house. Then they'll get 7 to 10 years of having no shit on it either. So
Gotcha.
That's what
Does that void the lifetime warranty?
No, people get confused a lot about having people on the roof and voiding the warranty.
Yeah.
The roof is voided if you get on there. Being a non-subcontractor, non-licensed, non-insured person, getting on top of the roof and doing any work yourself would void your warranty. If something would be to happen, you can go on your roof right now. But if you damage anything, that's on you. If you have a licensed, insured contractor person, I hold them liable, so I'm fine with it. So people have Dish Network come to their house.
Yeah.
People have chimney sweeps, go up there. They're all licensed, bonded, and insured. Go up there and do that. I'll hold them responsible, so then you're not responsible.
Yep.
The lifetime stuff will still hold up and do all that stuff. People really get concerned a lot of times with that. Tree people are even licensed, bonded, and insured. So, like, they drop a tree on your house or do something, it doesn't void your lifetime warranty. I just hold them liable for it.
I'm insured for my own business. Consulting. I'm insured.
Are you bonded?
I'm not bonded. I'm insured though.
Licensed?
Or you don't have to have a license
To do what you're doing at all? No financial background? Do you give people financial advice? You would need some kind of license?
No.
Because I feel like a lot of people that give financial advice on the internet, the interwebs, are like, by the way, this is not blah, blah, from a license, blah, blah.
There's no way, I mean, to be a CFO or even do financial analysis, there's no license out there. I mean, you can get a CPA, whatever, but I don't want to do the accounting, right? That's why we have accountant. We have a partner with that. He can do that. I want to come in and give you advice on how to maximize efficiencies and maximize your profit in your business. And how can I help you do that?
Interesting. So, yeah, I guess I could hold your company for a better part of I could hold your company liable if you or the entity going up there and do that. I could hold your company liable, which is still you, but
well, not that. I'm just saying, like, even so, any type of business, you should be insured. Like,
100%.
Should be dealing with people who are insured. If a guy comes knocks on your door and says, "I'm gonna do a roof. Let me see your insurance and bond," and if they don't show it,
be able to provide that.
If they don't, red flag.
It's so crazy. It's so nuts that so many people are out there doing it fly by night. It's so crazy. I think the industry would benefit from like a CarMax version of roofing. I think that's where it's going eventually. There's some places like, don't remember what is Roofle, I think it is, and I don't mean to give free press out to Roofle, but again, they've started to do that with asphalt shingles because of asphalt shingles being so readily available at all your Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, Carter C. Lumber, anything like that, and the amount of people being able to do asphalt shingles, the labor pool is so much bigger and so much more competitive that they can go online, type in your address, we'll give you a quote, these people will come out and do it, you're done. Instead of not knowing how much it would cost. And I think a lot of stuff is probably going to go that way. You know, every time that you have something going on at your house, you don't know what it's going to cost you.
Right.
Like you just had your basement leak. And do that. But there was no online form to be like, my basement's wet, my sub pent went out, I have this much square footage, blah, blah. Give me exactly how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, they don't know.
There's nothing.
No, because you
You
got to
have 4 different people at 4 different price points.
Yeah.
None of them are the same. And they all tell you it's because of customer service. They'll tell you warranty. They'll tell you whatever, how fast they can do it, how they use the best products. Cool.
Yeah.
But somewhere in there is an exact price of like, hey, this is the average for your area and this is high end. You should be somewhere. So like the customers know. And that's what CarMax does. If you've been in CarMax, if you want to sponsor us, I'll take a CarMax sponsorship. Just bought a car there today at CarMax. I bought one for Sierra.
Oh, that was...
And just executed the car purchase, I guess, today.
Gotcha. I bought my STI from CarMax.
Yeah, dude, they're
in
awesome.
Chicago. Pretty good.
They're awesome. There's no haggling. There's no nothing. Your car costs this. If you slide $5,000 underneath the table and be like, dude, make this $20 cheaper, they can't. They literally can't. What's on the internet is what you pay 1,000% of the time. There's no haggling. There's no nothing. If you bring your car in for an estimate, I'm giving so much free press away right now, free game, that if you go to CarMax and take your car, and what do you drive right now?
2004 GMC Sierra 2500 HD.
Okay, so if you go take that there and they're like, cool, $10,000.
Yeah.
No matter what, that thing is going to worth 10. Even if you go to the guy and be like, bro, I'll give you $5,000 underneath the table. Say it's worth $15,000.
Yeah.
They won't do it. They have a computer system, tells them the price of the cars. That's the price of the car. That's all what you pay. No haggling.
Yeah.
The only difference of cost is if your car comes from a different place, it's like so much for shipping.
Oh, gotcha.
So like the one that I got for Sierra today, this Lincoln Aviator, came from Iowa.
Yeah.
It was $1,100 to get it from Iowa to here. In 4 days, by the way, which I thought reasonable.
Yeah.
Because if I was going to pay old Tyler to go out there, it'd probably be $1,000 to go out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's at least a 4-day trip if that's all you did. So I really like that. And I think that's where a lot of the stuff is going. I think it has to go there. I'd love to be to the point where I'm kind of in charge of that, kind of making that process. I've thought about it for a while. But again, that's a lot, because you have Kelley Blue Book for your car and you have CarMax, to go buy a car.
Yeah.
There should be something to tell you for your home projects, siding. We have Eagle View now. Eagle View can take, for $75, can give you almost to the T what your siding should be.
Yeah.
They know how many windows you have. They know everything. They sometimes even have your floor plan. So then you go there and you're like, okay, I want blue vinyl or blue metal or what's that called? Hardy board or whatever. What should I pay? And at least you have an instant, like this is what you pay right now. And then don't pay more than this because this is what it is for your area.
Isn't that kind of what Home Advisor was doing too?
They tried to, but they had their hand on the scale. That's what's wrong.
Man,
it needs
so
to
much
be a
free press. We got to stop talking.
Home Advisor's dead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've been bankrupt. They've been doing terrible.
Yeah, that's what they tried to do.
They had their hand on the scale, though. How much you paid them to how much they would throw you into the mix.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So if you spent $30K a month on Home Advisor, these are the best metal roofers you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have your hand on, if you paid them $5 a month for leads, these guys don't even exist. So they had the hand on the scale, which is not okay.
No.
So
I got to get a cold drink.
I have to go use the restroom. This is perfect timing.
All right.
Perfect time. And we're back.
And we're back.
You have another hobby that I think is cool, racing.
Oh, car racing, yeah.
You think you might give it up this year, but tell us a little bit about your race team and the Cranky Anchors or whatever they're called.
We're not giving it up. We've been so busy. So I always have liked cars. We're same age, right? 36. I'm 36.
I'll be 35 at like 10 days.
Yeah. Do you remember when the first Fast and Furious came out?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, I love that movie.
Yeah.
And then
they've made 9 of them. It's fun.
This was the original.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters.
We're not the only ones that like them.
Right. So it got me thinking about cars, and so I worked at a go-kart track when I was 15, Rapid Raceway up in Angola, and got it when I was 15. Good money back then. I think I was making like $8.25 an hour or something back then.
Bro, you were killed it.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so I saved up for my first car, got an Eagle Talon, and just was like, because it was like looks like the Mitsubishi
They
from Fast and
do
Furious,
not
right?
make those anymore.
I know. It's automatic too. And anyway, I got like nice wheels on it, and like it was just fun. I got a body kit, got it resprayed. Like it was just fun hobby. And then went through college, started figuring out some Honda stuff. You know, did an engine swap, started playing with turbo stuff, and then I was like, hey, I really should probably get a car made that comes turboed from the factory. So I looked at Subarus. So I got in 2005 Subaru STI, 67,000 miles on it, and it's got 77,000 miles on it. Still have it. It's for sale.
Nice.
But anyway, I started autocrossing that here locally. Autocross is where it's like a time trial against other people in your class, and you do parking lot racing. So you set up cones in the parking lot, and you race around them, and you get a couple runs and whatever. So did that, modified the car quite a bit, and then a couple of guys that was autocrossing with was like, hey, let's do some endurance racing stuff. I'm like, all right, it sounds cool. Like I did a track day at Putnam Park in Indianapolis with my STI. I'm like, this is like the most fun ever, right? Because you're on a track, you get high speed. It's just a lot of fun. So we start out with a 1992 Dodge Shadow. Bro.
It was the poor man's Jetta for that time.
Yeah, it was bad. Like it was an automatic.
It looks cool.
No, it doesn't even look cool.
It did look cool. It looked like
maybe for the 90s.
It looked like a 90s Jetta. Like how they had that hatchback back in, like Fast and the Furious, where old boy loses his car that his dad built where he takes off.
Jesse.
Jesse. That kind of what it looks like, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of looks like that.
So it's an automatic. We're like, I'm not racing an automatic, so we swap it a manual to it and stuff like that.
Terrible idea.
Huh?
Terrible idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we got a used clutch, used pressure plate. It was just awful idea. Like everything should have been brand new. Anyway, took it to Road America. We all got a couple laps on it. We threw like 3 transmissions in it and whatever. So did that race. And I'm like, I can't work on this car because I mechanically couldn't do it. I didn't know how to work on it. So I'm like, I need to buy something that actually I know how to work on. So I bought a 1998, I think, Subaru. Started racing that. I was like, man, this thing needs more power. So we took an SVX motor. You remember the SVX cars? It's a 3.3 liter Boxer motor, Boxer 6. And
Subarus love their Boxer engines.
yeah, 225 horsepower.
Stock?
So, yeah. So I'm like, that's sick. So we put it in there, and we was just screaming. Like, it was just so much fun. But it always ran into problems, right? Always ran into problems.
Known for some of their problems.
Well,
you need baffles in their oil pans because
yeah.
the oil slosh and things like that.
100%. So we had to like add an AccuSump, right? So we had to do a whole bunch of
Radiators,
modifications.
and they had problems cooling.
Yep. So we had to add a bigger cooler, bigger.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
You know everything.
It's weird that I know stuff.
Yeah.
I've watched
and this
so
is,
much.
This is a
YouTube.
non-turbo. We're talking non-turbo. This is
Yeah.
just totally NA and stuff like that. So I started looking at the field. I'm like, what is finishing?
BMWs every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
BMWs.
BMWs. every time.
E30s were finishing. So I'm like, all right. So I started thinking about that. So one came up for sale. It's been raced for a long time, and they're like, hey, we're just getting out of it. Super clean car. So I bought it. Had an M50 motor swapped into it. So an E30 is a 1989 BMW 325i. The M50 motors came from like the 95 E36s. And so roughly, the E30s had 169 crank horsepower. These had like 189 to 190 crank horsepower. So you can get a little bit more horsepower out of it, but you couldn't really modify the car more. So step back real quick. The series I'm in is called Champ Car, and it's based on a point system, right? So our car starts at 450 points, and you can only go up to 500 points until you start taking laps. So I only have 50 points to play with. So when I did the engine swaps, it cost me 50 points. So I had no more points to play with.
So you had to race that car. No spoilers, no suspension, no nothing.
You could do upgrades on like stock suspension, like as long as it's non-adjustable coilovers. No engine really. I mean, you could do like upgraded ECU and stuff like that. So we started racing that, and everyone's like, "Man, you're starting to be competitive now," like and stuff like that. So
the bug.
So then, so we've traveled all over the country doing these. So I've probably raced over 30 racetracks. And it's with a lot of my good friends that I've met racing. I've met some of my best friends racing now. And we just do it as a hobby. And I've learned a lot about cars and working on cars and how to get them to last so many hours. And we've now, when we show up at a track, we are now one of the ones that should
Look out
win.
for it, yeah.
Yeah, people are like, oh, their crank anchors is coming out. Like, beware. Like, it's kind of cool coming from like, oh, these guys are always going to break to
Idiots.
now. It's
Yeah.
like, we figured some things out. So it's fun, man. So my wife has done it with me,
My wife.
and we got engaged on the way out to a race. Like, racing's been a big part of my life.
And now,
So-
since you're a family man, 2 kids, full-time career, you're going to do it less and less.
Well, yeah, I think I've raced all the tracks I want to race, you know?
Yeah.
And when you look at it, I've done COTA, I've done Laguna Seca, I've done Road America, I've done VIR, I've done Watkins Glen, I've done Sebring, I've done Calabogie up in Canada. I've done a lot, like MIS, Gingerman. I can name all these tracks, right? And so I've done all the tracks. Like,
Can I tell you what my birthday thing that I want to do is?
go ahead.
Okay. So for my birthday, my friends are awesome, right? So they want to do fun stuff. They want to get me big limo things that we can smoke cigars in, take us up to the casino, go to nice places, do all this fun stuff. And I'm like, that's fine. But anybody that has money can do that. I say, let's, Perfect Steel will sponsor this. And we go buy, we have $1,000 as our cars.
Yeah.
Okay, that we can spend. We have to buy one. Has to be 4 seats. Okay? Got to
Okay.
see 4 people. And be 1 to 4 people is in this challenge, basically like that.
Okay.
And we have to go there when they buy the car, so we make sure everything's above board. We don't want someone to be like, hey man, it's $5,000 car, but I'll give you $1,000 in
Yeah.
paperwork and then blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. So we go there, do that. We all buy them, and then we do like a road map, thing. Like we just go somewhere. Maybe first stop is the casino, and then second stop is the racetrack in Putnam County, and then we go somewhere else like Hocking Hills or something like that. Whatever. And we see whose car is going to last the longest.
It's like the Grand Tour.
I love Top Gear. So
Top-
that's where
it's
I
like
got
Top
it.
Gear,
It's
dude.
Top Gear.
Yeah.
It's Top Gear 100% top to bottom. It's a complete ripoff.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do that, like put GoPros, get radios in the cars so we can talk to each other and literally see what $1,000 car could do. And then as they break down, which notoriously they will,
Sure.
and we are not handy people like you, we have no idea how to fix cars besides put stuff in the coolant.
You should let me come do it with you.
You can. You'd be definitely a part of it for sure. It's a little unfair because you could probably fix most stuff that goes wrong, but the other 3 people are complete idiots. So it would be so much fun to go do that, and you probably know what to buy. And you'd be like, I can fix this on the fly with some, duct tape and some rubber bands.
Bubble gum.
Yeah, bubble gum. So like, I want to do that really, really bad. I think that would be fun way to celebrate my birthday. Turn 35, halfway to 40, still doing dumb stuff. And then whoever wins gets to keep all the cars that make it or whatever, which could be hundreds of dollars of winnings.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds
exactly.
of dollars.
Or you just pay someone to come scrap the cars.
Yeah, and we like go and we can modify our cars.
That'd be fun.
Things like that.
So in the $1,000, does that include modifications?
Yeah. So like if you get it for $500,
Yeah.
then you can do modifications and
Yeah.
put new tires or put coolant in it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like do stuff to it. And then see what they go. We go off road, go on road. See what.
Go to the sand dunes and shit.
Yeah, maybe Badlands wouldn't be a bad place to go take one. Just see what happens. And then as why it needs to be 4-seaters is because if we do 4 people, there's probably one car that will last the entire way out of 4. There's
Sure,
probably one
that makes sense.
that will limp through. And then as you go, you leave your car there. You got to ride with someone
Yeah.
else.
That's cool. Yeah, another thing with the racing thing.
And then like every night we
Oh,
try
yeah.
to like go like disable other people's cars, like the air conditioning, how they do that when they take the air conditioning out of someone's car, or they put the radio on 100%,
Or, like,
or every
rewire the horn and-
so every time they break, they
Yeah.
stuff like that would be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be fun.
I would like that. You
That'd
have
be
to
cool.
sleep one night in your car, stuff like that would be absolutely
Oh,
hilarious.
a good one would be you have to find something to cook under your car on your engine from like one place to another for like 30 minutes. So like a pizza or like a
Interesting.
steak, and then you have to eat it.
Feels like you've done this before.
I've never done that,
Oh, but
but
it's a
like
good
a
idea.
grilled cheese sandwich
Yeah,
or something.
it'd be great.
Something like that. would be
Wrap it
fun.
in foil and put it in your engine block. And see what
Exactly.
happens.
Wouldn't that be
Yeah,
cool?
That'd be awesome. No, I really want that. I just came up with that like hours before this podcast. I was like, I have dumb friends that could spend a 3-day weekend with me. Like, we could go do some stuff, see how far it would last. And maybe the end thing is my parents' new property in Georgia, which is 17 hours. That's a haul. And there'll be multiple terrains and multiple stuff. And it'll be absolutely hilarious because none of these cars are going to have fucking cruise control. No, I'm going to have air conditioning. They're going to have wheel wobble. They're going to have all sorts of stuff. And as they go down, you can't drive it anymore.
Right.
We just leave them. They done. We call a wrecker. They done. Pile on to the next one. Then as we go, ride an Uber the rest of the way. Whatever.
It'd be funny if people wanted to like buy back in
with their own money.
Yeah.
None of my idiot friends will do that.
I know.
No, they're so smart.
That's
so
true.
they know that they'll never fucking recoup that shit.
It's
something worthwhile at the end. Like, I haven't found out, like, because cool, I'm paying for all the cars and whatever. And it still only cost me $4,000.
Nice box of cigars at the end.
Is that going to be enough for them to try to, like, screw it, dude? I'll just ride with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Deal.
That's true.
Like when Jeremy Clarkson comes back with the cow on top of his roof off of one of them, like just that kind of stuff would be absolutely.
And get it like all on video would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, as I say, another thing with the racing, my dad and I did together. So like, it was. He passed away in January, and I was supposed to go to Road Atlanta for the championship in February, and I just couldn't do it. So then we went to NCM in March and was like super prepared for the race. And I was like, I'm going to win this for my dad. And we went out and Saturday, and gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. But like, I had this sticker made up of him and I put it on the car and stuff. And everyone's like, it's a pretty big race for you. And like, we were leading pretty early on, and then we got some troubles like with just stuff like electronically wasn't working. So they issues. So then we fell back a lap. And then I told my buddy, like, just go see what the car has. And he just destroyed, like, he made up a lap, which was quite a bit at that track. And then my next buddy went out and just did good pace up like a couple laps. And then I went out and finished the race and crossed the finish line. I knew my dad was there with me. So it was
nice.
It's pretty cool. Like, I haven't raced since then just because I haven't had time to work on the car. If I can't work on the car and feel like it's going to go win, there's no point in going to do a track day.
No, I'll be the exact same way.
Yeah. So we're going to go do Mid-Ohio in September. So we are going to go to that race.
That'd be cool.
And then Road America in October, and that race is going to be dedicated to my dad because that was his favorite track.
That was his favorite track?
Yeah, dude. So
I think it'd be cool to do Bristol or something like that, where like the huge banks.
I've not done Daytona yet. I want to do Daytona. That's like one that's on my bucket list to do.
But that's expensive to be in that one too.
It's not. I just go take a car.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Beautiful.
You just go. You need you need a lot of horsepower for Daytona, right? Because there's a lot on the banking, and it's the same course that the Rolex 24-hour runs. So you got that bus stop and everything like that. But there's not much infield, and if you don't have a lot of horsepower, you're gonna fall quite a bit behind. So our car only puts out like 169 horsepower, right? Got aero, just gonna slow down a little bit on the banking. So, but I've seen Miatas do really well, and we do pretty well against Miata. So I'm like, maybe one year we'll go down to Daytona. So
that might be tight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always wanted to do that kind of stuff, I don't know. I have an affinity for Top Gear. I think I have affinity for the comic relief that comes with the car stuff. Like, people that take it so seriously turn me off a couple times. Just like, I like a story to be told, and then that's what gives me, because like, you can't put a price on memories, right? So like, people pay for all these cheap thrills that go to Cedar Point and all that stuff. I've never been about that.
Right.
Because those fades just as quickly as you're on it, they fade.
Yeah.
3 years from now, you're going to be like, oh man, one time Top Thrill Drags. Like, no one cares. It's cheap thrills. But when you do really cool stuff, really out of the box stuff, and it lasts forever.
Yeah.
No matter how much money it costs, it lasts forever.
Yeah, for example, like we went to Laguna Seca. We towed out there. That's where my wife and I got engaged. So we took a 2-week trip.
California, right?
Yeah. Monterey. And I show up, my buddy Rob, my buddy Evan, my buddy Kip was living out in Oregon at the time. He's moved back since then, but he met us down there. And then we had a pro driver come out and race with us. His name is Misha Goikberg, and he raced. He was coming off winning a Rolex, and so he was out there with us. But like we still talk about how we went out there, and we like for some reason we're the underdog because we're coming from the Midwest, right? And we destroyed the field on the first day. Like we won by like 2 laps. Never seen the track. Three out of the 4 of us never seen the track.
It's gotta feel good.
It was cool, but that's like a memory, right?
Yeah,
not a cheap thrill.
You can't put a price on that,
right?
You know, anybody that can do these cheap thrills is jumping out of a plane and all this other stuff. I mean,
jumping out of a plane
that leaves you so quickly, though.
Right.
I mean, that no one's talking about that 10 years in the making.
Sure.
You know, like that's not. You know, when you talk about stuff with your dad, that didn't make the thing. We took you to Disney World or something like that. I mean, didn't make the clip. But like you get in an accident with your dad, or you get in a car wreck with your dad, having to fix a car overnight, blah, blah, that kind of stuff lives with you and really makes a memory that you just can't pay for and to have. And so like I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to do it with my friends who are sensitive at best.
Do you know that's how we got the name Crank Anchors? You know, remember Crank Anchors?
Yeah.
That's because we just wanted to like go out and have fun, and like a lot of people were taking shit serious.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I've met your crew before.
yeah, Crank Anchors
Yeah.
is so fun because it's like they were prank calling people and that TV show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a great name, and it's like kind of like car themed too. So that's kind of how we got our name. So
I like it. I really want to do. So this is my dream growing up. Everyone's like nowadays, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like YouTube star, and I'm like, ugh. But the equivalent to my age was I want to be Jeremy Clarkson.
yeah,
I do. I want to be Jeremy Clarkson. I'm be a tall, fat guy that's hilarious. Like, gets to drive cars for a living.
that was
You know, and do hilarious stuff with his best friends. Like, that's what I want.
There you go.
That's my dream.
That's awesome.
I thought that I could be good at it, knowing nothing about cars, or well, not nothing, but like not as much as a little bit more than the average person, but like no, like just going having a good time.
Well, you can tell a story really well.
Yeah, so like I have that going for me.
Yeah.
I think I have the comedy and things like that. I don't know. And then you also get like a guy like you that's like in the cars. Then you get like a handsome boy, you get like that.
Well, I've
And,
got both those covered.
Yeah,
So
you're good. You're good. You're the comic and the car guy. So I'll do the handsome
no.
part.
Oh.
Like, but I really just had an affinity for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched. I mean, they had 20 years of Top
yeah.
Gear. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched it all. I mean, I watched every single one multiple times. Last time taking out the trash, I'm watching an old amphibious car episode. You remember those?
No.
Where they had to take a vehicle and make it amphibious and then go down a river.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. It was one of the tours, wasn't it?
Well, no, I mean they did probably one on the tour, but they did 2 or 3.
No, because they had these specials.
That was a special for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I was saying. Like they had
Yeah.
these specials. Because then, was that the one that they also did the Subaru? That was a different one where they went across, I think, Africa and
different one than that one where they raced across Africa.
Who's the small skinny
sedans.
guy? Richard.
Richard is the small one.
Yeah, he's the one that had the Subaru.
Yeah,
I remember that.
he had the Oliver. He had the Opal,
Okay.
which was a very small 3-cylinder car when they raced across Africa. And Jeremy had a Mercedes.
Yeah. Okay.
A big heavy I think he had a Mercedes.
It's been so long
Or
since
maybe
I
a
watched
Lancia.
those.
Oh,
but
dude, it's been
they're
10, 15 years, bro. It's been so long. Like,
Yeah.
we think it's been long. You know, I remember being in high school and being like, trying to turn people on to this show that's been on for a long time. Be like, you guys don't understand. Like, this is gold.
Yeah.
People do not understand. And so, I mean, they're still doing the Grand Tour nowadays for Amazon, but it's not the same.
No.
It's good. It's good, but it's not the same.
Yeah, when like BBC
My new favorite
canceled
thing
them.
is Clarkson's Farm,
I
where
haven't seen that.
it's great. It's just me if you like made me farm for 3 years. Like, it's just hilarious being like, knowing nothing about farming, no idea how to work a tractor, no idea, and then like he just starts a farm and does farm, like legitimate farming.
Sounds like Jim Belushi trying to grow weed.
Yeah, it's like that. It's hilarious. Like, it's so funny to watch. He bought a Lamborghini tractor because that's how Lamborghini started, was tractors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they didn't build cars. They built tractors.
That's funny.
And they got into cars.
Yeah.
After they made so much money in tractors. And then his tractor is like a semi-truck versus a Miata, basically, on what a normal tractor is. So it doesn't fit where tractors normally go. he ends up tearing up his field, tearing up his barns, tearing up everything, and like, because it's all about power and shit.
Yeah.
It's just fucking great. I want to do that so bad.
That'd be fun.
So bad.
What do you think your $1,000 car would be?
I think like a Bonneville or something like that, like a Pontiac Bonneville. You know, GDP maybe, like something Pontiac that doesn't exist anymore that people don't value.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, the main car things, like if it's a Chevy or Ford or Dodge, or people are still can buy those and work on them and do that.
Yeah.
You can't. They're not making parts for Pontiac anymore. If that thing breaks, you're fucked. You're done.
You're done.
You're fucking done, son. So it's like that might be a cool $1,000 car.
Sure.
Will it last 17 hours to Georgia? Probably not, but it would be cool if it did.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
I could see you carrying like with that, like springs a leak and you're just carrying all this 1 gallon water, just filling
every
it up.
16 miles, just going on there and filling it all up. Bro, that would be amazing. I would totally do that.
That'd be so much
I would
fun.
totally do that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do it so badly. I want to do it so bad. I think we probably will do it. Now that I'm speaking it into existence, I got 2 weeks to do it. So if I start on it this weekend, I'll have it done.
Yeah.
I got the cash in my backpack right now. We'll just do it.
Go do it.
I'll just go do it. And Jimmy's got something for the canvassers the day after my birthday. I won a 10 caps suite for the baseball stadium here in town. And they're taking them there. But then maybe after that, just take like come back on a Wednesday or something like that. Just
That'd be fun.
road tripping up there. We have no idea. They probably don't have cell phone chargers in those cars or anything like that.
Not.
So it'll just be hilarious.
Hilarious.
We have to camp in our cars or something like that. It'd be so funny. And then as we go along and they break down, the more and more shit that you'd have to accrue to get in the next car to keep going would just be hilarious. It would be so funny.
Like someone's going to show up with a 1992 Ford Explorer or something.
You think so? That would be clutch if they did.
Wouldn't it?
That would be clutch. I think they're all going to be cars. I don't think that you can get any SUV that's running for $1,000 anymore.
Probably right.
Should we look? I think that we should look.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my phone. Let's see what. Oh.
No, we can do it on here, bro.
Right here.
It's 21st century.
That's true. Sorry.
Like you can see what I look for. Fucking
A massage.
Massage chair for the factory.
Oh,
would be so tight.
yeah.
Let's see if it's gonna pull up here. I think I gotta stop mirroring and then mirror. Oh, perfect. $8,000. Maybe we can get it for $1,000. You know, I think that it would be super cool to get that. All right, we're
That
categories. We're vehicles. We'll do body style. We'll do it has to be a hatchbacks or 4-doors, right? Oh, it only gives you one. So let's do vehicles and let's do car truck.
Why don't you just go to price?
Oh, well, easy boy. Then we'll filter by price, and we'll do everything from $900 to what do you think the maximum we could talk someone down from? Probably $1,200.
I was gonna say 1,400, but
You think you can talk someone to $1,400 down?
depends how well their negotiating skills are.
Okay, so a lot of Volkswagens come up first. Okay, manual transmission Volkswagen Beetle, bro. Okay, selling as is. It's too small for me. Needs work done to it. Also, just stick shift. Reverse is out right now, which you don't need reverse. Passenger window needs a motor. Don't need that. Has an open title right now. That's a deal. If you can talk to someone, they're already down to 1,000 right now. Saab, I guarantee this needs work.
Oh yeah.
I drive it, could use some works. Turbos, builds, boost, shifts all right.
Weird
overheating. not gonna be the one.
No.
Not gonna be the one for us. Dodge Caliber. I feel like
See, look, there you go.
this is a great car. Needs a good mechanic. He doesn't even want to discuss it on
What
Facebook.
about that Corvette for $1,000? Right there, that green thing.
This is a parts.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Okay. What about this
Ford Freestyle? Untested.
Untested,
Okay, that's not going to be good for us.
Well, we're trying here. Now you're out of your.
Oh,
What did you search for?
it went away. Filters price. I have to go back to 900 to 1400. See listings. Can we sort at all? Sort by highest first. Okay. So it's pretty much the Saab for some reason. It got rid of all the other stuff. I don't know why. Filters suggested. Maybe because they're outside the search.
Let's go. Hold on. Go back.
Should we go to cars.com or something like that? And
no,
see
go
if
back
there's-
to filters. Just
What about this? Ooh, Barreau.
Terre Haute.
Shift smooth. Minor scrapes. Great on gas. New alternator. New battery. Aftermarket kicker. Cold air intake. Aftermarket rims. A little bit of a shake when braking.
It's got a minor coolant line leak.
Fun car to drive.
How much does he want for this?
1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like that's a deal, bro.
Go.
I feel like it's a deal.
I feel like your search is not coming up with a good. Go back to your.
Let's do cars.com.
Okay.
Let's see if I doubt there's anything going to be available. We'll have to keep talking during this to make it fun, but like new and used, put new and used in there. It's probably going to be used. Okay.
Yep.
All makes for sure. All models.
Go like 50 miles.
Max price $2,000.
Yep.
Okay. Distance. We'll do 50 miles. Search.
One match. It's a fucking
Dodge Caravan, which would be smooth, right?
It would be.
There's a bunch of them in there.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a bunch of them in there. This is just probably the
one
sponsored one or whatever.
Okay.
You know? Can you change it even less? No. Can we do the lowest? It's pretty much, oh, dude. Here we go. After you get past the sponsored, we got.
Dude, a PT Cruiser? Come on, bro.
You think that's the fucking car you'd get?
No.
What about Value Edition Jetta?
That might actually be good, but Jettas are a pain to work on.
Yeah, we're not going to work on it. It's fine.
I know. At least one accident. Well,
Does not stay running. That's going to be a problem for our road trip. Does not stay running.
I'm looking real quick at mine too.
I'm thinking this Saab, 2005 Saab.
Oh, look at that. What is wrong with it?
Runs well, bro.
Transmission shifts
hard.
Tires
New
are
paint.
fair.
Good for mechanically inclined. Extra electronics every part.
Dude, bro, see, like
I think that's a winner.
dude, see, you I just found a 2011 Chevy Cruze for under $1,000. Car runs great, super clean, no rust, clean title. Just started having some trans issues.
Yeah, that's not gonna be great.
Okay, well,
Mercury
I'm looking on my phone.
Sable. You know what? I should show what the oldest car is because it'd be fun to get like the oldest car.
A 2013 Dodge Dart. Look at this. Needs a head gasket. A
This is what
2001
I thought
Honda
I would
Accord.
find a 2000 or a 1999 Forest SE. Dude, I feel like I could talk this dude down.
I had one. I just had one of those as a rental car. It was
No,
a
no.
97.
Nuh-uh.
I drove it here. Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
When my truck was getting worked on. Yeah,
Bro.
I think you like you were searching weird because I'm finding cars a whole bunch.
I feel like I could talk this dude down. Do I want to drive, a shit ton far to go in Kentucky to go
No, go
do it?
Dude,
But
I'm finding a whole bunch on Facebook now.
on Facebook?
Yeah.
We'll go back to Facebook. So I go to Marketplace,
Just go to search marketplace.
just right up here and do what?
Yep. Just put cars for sale.
Cars for sale?
Right there. Yep.
Okay.
Now go to filter
Filters,
and just do like price.
price.
Just do 500 to 1400.
500 to 1400.
But I think you and then go back to filters
Okay.
and go to okay, no, you're good. I'm trying to figure out the area that you're trying to search in. Anyway, go back. But look, there's a lot more.
Oh my God, beautiful.
Look at this.
Beautiful, bro.
Oh, a
I
town
would
car.
100% drive this. Look how messed up that driver's seat
Dude,
is.
it looks like something that you would drive in the
You don't
9
think
too. Dude,
that I would drive this?
you would. Okay.
Doesn't run. Okay, fair enough. Isuzu Trooper, Jimmy had one of those. He might be comfortable. Dude, it's driving in the video. The revs don't really work, but it's fine.
Runs mint perfect. Vehicle for mudding, daily driver. Oh, this is no title.
Oh, yeah, dude, we don't care. Like, we're just trying to go.
Cash is king. Trades are welcome.
You don't think it'd be hilarious?
Oh, this would be hilarious.
Big sunroof, 4x4.
That would go well if you're going to go
800
to the
cash. Dude,
if you're
look
gonna
at
go to the
him
dunes.
cruise, bro. Isuzu Trooper.
Okay, go back. See what else there is now.
I don't know. I think I'm stuck on this, bro. I wrecked Jimmy's back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah. He had one. I wrecked it.
Dude, look at another Lincoln Town car.
Dude, this is what I would really like. Executive sedan. Beater with a heater, runs good. Starter when the starter gets replaced. So that's a no good.
Does it, oh my gosh, no! Like door works. You could probably get this thing.
But
for
could I
like
get it for $800?
$600 and put a starter in it.
But like, who could put a starter in it? For
I could put a
yeah.
starter
Well,
in it.
your cheat code.
And it's right in Fremont, Indiana, where like that's 20 minutes where I live. Mm-hmm. Dude, executive sedan. Go look at these pictures.
Oh, I bet it's mint, bro.
Oh my. Look, oh.
Mint.
Oh, look at that windshield.
Look, that is bolted on mirror. They're not coming off. So the door handle, I'm not sure how that works, but it works.
Jumper cables in the...
Bro, you know that thing. Dude,
Oh
that
my
is
God.
cherry. I'd have to ask someone for a jump every day. Bro, that is the car.
Dude, look at that.
For sure.
Look at that.
You don't think all the fun stuff that I would do?
That would be so much fun.
It would be so much fun. So anyway, that's
All right.
my idea.
Okay.
That's my idea for getting this thing done. Like, I want to do $1,000, you know, and then the car will live in Georgia, which will be fine. I don't know why I bought Facebook again, but the car will live in Georgia, and it will be hilarious.
That'd be so much fun.
It'll be hilarious. I don't know. I like it. I like the idea of doing it.
Sounds like a great idea.
So I'm thinking about it hardcore.
Awesome.
So, and then we'd have memories that would live on a lifetime. Just
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
get the gas station to gas station would be just hilarious.
Do you think one car would actually make it to Georgia?
Yeah, if you get 1 to 3 cars, I bet one of them makes it to Georgia. I doubt it's 100%, you know, but I'd bet one car gets to Georgia. 17 hours to my dad's place from here.
But you're talking about going to Michigan first, or you're just going to head south and hit stops along the way.
Well, it's like east and then down, so you have to go around the national forest.
You would have to find a drag strip somewhere and put these things on a drag strip.
Yeah.
You'd have to. Quarter mile.
But like now I got to find out like in those things, what are we doing it for? Are we doing it for an extra $500 to put into your car to make it nice again? You know, like can you get a set of tires or whatever like that? Or, you know, like what does
What's
that
the winner
get you?
get?
What's the winner? You get 30 minutes driving a rental car, you know, like, you know, something nice.
Bragging rights.
You know, bragging rights is fine, but I just think it'd be so funny. And you know what sucks is like I know that Jimmy's car, whatever he picked, it'd be a giant waste of time, and his was run fine the whole time. It'd be fun. We'd all be riding with Jimmy.
Why?
He just has the luck.
Okay.
He just has the luck where it's just like he doesn't try and it just happens.
Happens.
And I'm like, bro,
Come on, bro.
I did so much background research to try to make this thing fucking cherry, and it's not working out for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I think a good one would be is that whoever does the best that day gets to stay in the nice hotel, and then the other people have to stay at the cheapest hotel in that town. That would be a great one.
Or is that the night where everyone has to sleep in their cars, and
then that person
that
gets to
person
sleep
gets like
in
the nicest hotel,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
and they get to have like dinner there too or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And we
dinner,
have to eat
drinks.
like whatever we kill.
And the other people have to like
roadkill or whatever.
Roadkill.
You know, just whatever.
go begging on the corners for drinks.
I'm gonna write this up tomorrow. This
I
is
can't
gonna be a
wait.
great script,
All right.
and it's gonna happen. And then I'll pay someone on Fiverr or something like that
Yeah.
to manipulate all this footage into like a cool special.
Sure.
There'll
That'd
be
be-
someone out there that can do it.
Oh, I'm 100%. That'd be fun.
It'll probably cost me more GoPro stuff than the cars will.
I have a couple.
You have a couple? Oh, yeah, you have the car stuff. But I really want to do it. I don't know why it's stuck in my head. I think it's just my chance to do it. You know, Roscoe's young, so he won't miss me for a couple days. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, work's going great. I think I want to do it.
All right.
I think I'm speaking into existence on the podcast. I look like
Do
an
it.
idiot talking for a half hour on the podcast about doing this and be like, no, we just never did it.
You just have to edit it
I'm
out
not
if
that
it doesn't
guy.
happen.
And then do we show the promo of it on here and then release it for like a debut?
That'd be fun.
You know, like you have to pay attention to the podcast and when it's going to drop.
Yeah.
And then people maybe pay attention to it.
Wouldn't it be cool to have like a dealer sponsor this whole thing and give you some cars? No, that wouldn't be fun.
It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair.
True.
With all my connections, it would not be fair.
That's true.
Yeah, it would not be fair. No, but we film the buying of the cars, and we film the road test when we get them, and we just all take off from the same amount of time. We have a legitimate map of where we're gonna go and everything, and we go, and then each day that one thing we have to do, and if we don't do that, then it's like two guys are, you know, out or whatever, and the one guy gets to stay in the hotel while the
Yeah.
other people stay in his car, and I think that would be great. I think it'd be
Imagine you do like the hotel thing like two days in, so you have at least one person's car broken down, so two people have to share a car or something. That'd be fun.
this is a great idea.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a great idea.
Dude, all you need is like a backpack, sleeping bag, and pillow.
I love
And I'd
it.
probably like pack some SpaghettiOs just in case.
Well, I won't tell him that
'Cause you know,
they'll
like,
plan for it. Jimmy will have like
SpaghettiOs
5
you can eat-
charcuterie plates in his car.
You can like heat those cold. It's a good source of protein too.
I'm gonna get more ice for my apple juice. Do you want anything?
I'm gonna grab another one of these. Apple juice.
Well, this will be the podcast where we take the most breaks of all times, which is fine.
Is it seriously?
Yeah, it
You
will
don't-
be.
Why?
I thought Chad, who would have to pee every 15 minutes, would have the most breaks in a podcast. But this is it. And it's because of bad life choices on my part. I did not have all the drinks set up. I did not have all the stuff set up. So
I should have had my cooler of drinks here.
yeah,
huh?
no, we'll plan better in the future, but it's fine. But I really want to talk to you, Mr. Pedersen, the quote-unquote expert.
I'm
in
not an
the-
expert.
Okay, not an expert, but done well in the crypto
Yeah.
world. How's crypto doing today?
It's fallen a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Bitcoin was right around 29,000. Ethereum was around 1850-ish. Those are the only two ones I care about right now.
Yeah, let's talk about only those that for sake of arguments and stuff like that. Where were you 4 years ago? Where are you today? As far as in the crypto stuff. You still
4
have the
years
same
ago.
money in? Do you still have money out?
I
Did
see
you
what you're
cash
saying.
out anything?
I see what you're saying.
Is
Yeah,
your wallet
4
sitting empty? Is your wallet full? What are you doing?
Yeah, 4 years ago, so that was 2019. I was still in. So I was in pretty heavily into that. And so in 2013, I bought some Bitcoin because I met a guy at the bar. We would meet up every Friday at Dickie's here in town.
Yeah.
Great place, and we would just talk. And he was like, I'm mining Bitcoin. He's like, you need to get into it, especially since you're in the banking world. You'd understand how the money goes, like how the DeFi or the decentralization of money would work. So I did some research, and he initially paid me some Bitcoin so I could have some because he was a racing buddy, so he paid me in Bitcoin. And then I just kept buying from there. So I bought between $750 and $1,000, the price of Bitcoin. And then 2019 came along, and it was like 19 to 20 grand. And I texted my wife. I said, hey, should we cash out? She says, no, I think it's going to go higher. COVID hits 3 grand, right? So we're like, oh, shit, you know. But then 2021 came, and that's right around when we started selling at around 58,000 all the way up to 62.
Wow.
So, and then starting to buy back in right now. I started buying at 20 and going to continue to buy on the dips because I think we're going to have a massive bull run next year. So that's my thoughts.
Based on
Historics. So if actually I have a journal and I actually timed the bottom. I didn't call the bottom. I timed of when it was going to be, but I didn't buy. I actually did the math from 2013 all the way up to like last year. Bitcoin's a 4-year cycle. So there's this halving, which means, so if you mine Bitcoin, you get rewards for mining Bitcoin in Bitcoin. So every 4 years when everyone's like the halving's coming, those rewards gets halved, right? So then not a lot. So the rewards go down at that point.
Okay.
So essentially every time it
That's
halves.
a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
That their rewards get halved.
Right, because the speed the blocks are being mined is getting slower at that point, and it just continues to solidify the value of Bitcoin at that point too. So there is a maximum supply of Bitcoin, which is supposed to be mined out in like 2045 or 2050, somewhere around there, I believe. I'll have to go back and do the math. But anyway, it was based on these cycles. So it was like there's usually 300 and some days. I wish I would have brought my notebook. But I timed the cycle. There's like 300 and some days of like when the high was going to hit to when the low was going to hit. So there's usually about a year. So between November, December this year, I said, hey, this is when the low is going to be. And that's when it actually hit right around 18,000. Based on the math I did, I actually have it on my charts. I have 2 lines drawn, and between these dates, I'm like, it's going to hit, and it hit.
Wow.
So I think the bottom's in for Bitcoin. Ethereum, same. I think the bottom's in for Ethereum. So.
And then
for this cycle.
Over the next so many years, it's going to go up.
So yeah, we'll have the halving is next May. So usually before then, it'll start kind of going up. So you're seeing it right now. It's going from 26 to 31, 26 to 31. We might have one pullback to like 21 to 20. But then I think after that, we continue to keep going up from there all the way maybe to 80 or 90,000.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit in me owning a roofing company to find a way to take Bitcoin in for payment on a roof? Is that a smart idea? Is that a bad idea? I know people buying cars with Bitcoin. There's a few dealerships for high-end cars and stuff taking Bitcoin. But what is there any benefit, if there is any, like what, why isn't everyone doing it? And then again, should I be looking into housing a wallet to take in Bitcoin?
I think a lot of people aren't doing it because because of the volatility of Bitcoin, right? So let's say you have a $30,000 roof, right? And someone wants to pay you in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and they have Bitcoin's at 30,000, so it's one coin for a roof.
So they pay you 1 Bitcoin.
Okay.
Well, then let's say you take that in. It's a sale, right? You take it in, but then the next day Bitcoin's worth $27,000, right? It drops 3,000. So now you're underwater on that roof, right? So that's why a lot of people don't bring it in. So,
but is there a thing that tax-wise, is there any implications of taking that rather than taking cash? As far as like straight up,
that's literally an accountant question. I don't know. Tax wise, you still have to. So here's what my thoughts are. Not financial advice because I'm not a CPA.
Okay.
But I would say if you take in that $30,000, that's a sale, right? You have your tax on that sale. And then if you say you sell that Bitcoin 6 months later at 32,000, then you're taxed again on that $2,000 gain.
Right.
So you still have to be taxed on that sale.
Seems like more work for not a lot more money.
It depends on what your long-term holding is, right? So
yeah, if I'm going to hold the Bitcoin for hours
as a company,
and ride it till 50,
right? As a company, if you're like, hey, I'm willing to take in Bitcoin right now until let's say March of 2024, and then you can hedge that position, right? So how do you hedge that position, right? So you say, hey, I'm going to start taking in Bitcoin now, but like I'm going to sell 10% of it right away to USDT or cash. So then I'm only exposed 90% of that sale.
Okay.
Or you're saying, hey, if I make 10% on this, I'm selling it, right? So that's kind of your own hedge. But then if it drops even more and more and more, right, then you have to almost DCA in your position.
And you can't write that off, that loss. Probably you're not CPA. Gotcha.
You might be able to. That's another tax question.
Because they're tracking it now. They're tracking it now. That's the big thing that changed in the last 10 years.
Well, and there's no wash rules within crypto.
Right.
So wash rules, what that means is that if you buy Bitcoin for 30,000 and you sell it for 20, and then you buy it right back again for like 19.5 in the same year, you can take that as a loss.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the wash rules are going to come out of crypto, but a lot of people do that at tax time at the end of the year.
I was just wondering, you were really into that. I really thought about giving you a bunch of money when you were into that and stuff. Luckily, I didn't have any money to give, so that was cool. I put it all back into the company, but I really thought about crypto up until about 2 years ago, and then I was like, I think the craze is over. It might continue to be more stabilized. It might come into I don't think it's going away.
Right.
I don't think it's going away. I know that for my business, it probably won't have a profound effect unless I got into it heavily. So I just never kind of put any eggs in that basket. I remember trying to do some stuff even with stocks and playing with it during COVID times because my dad was telling me stuff about the steel market and what it was going to do. And I was like, cool. And so I bought $300 and watched it go up to 500 and go back down to 300. And, I sold out at making $50 or something like that. And it was just crazily, it was too hard for me to handle that gambling aspect of doing that kind of stuff. And so I kind of, with stocks or crypto or any of that stuff that I couldn't hold, I just didn't do it. I mean, I did Robinhood or whatever it was at the time, did all that kind of, and then like right after that time, the people did GameStop, and I was like, they made a movie about GameStop.
I know.
Stock. That's how profound it was in modern day culture.
Well, it was the retail traders taking over the institutions, right? I mean, it was the.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, it was great.
You gotta love it.
I like the aspect of crypto because you get to hold your net worth to where you want, right? You get to hold it in your own wallet. You get to hold it, and you can. There's a lot of people I know that buy gift cards with their crypto, so they never have to sell it, right?
Right.
And then they live off gift cards, or they figure out deals and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out there that hold a lot of crypto that manage their life like that.
And you can do it like that.
You can.
You have to be knowledgeable. You have to be
very
knowledgeable, and you got to pray that they don't do backward stuff with the stuff if they can.
Yeah, and the real reason that crypto exists is the decentralization, getting the government out.
I get that.
Yeah.
I think that that's fine. Back in the olden times, like it was worth whatever someone said it was worth, and it didn't matter what country you belonged to. Gold was gold. Gold was worth more somewhere else, and blah blah. That's fine. I think that's now we have a piece of paper saying it's worth X, and if it's worth nothing one day, then we got to live with it worth nothing one day. That won't happen, but like. We still got to be, it's not going to worth as much. Like someone asked me the other day, like, I think it was my personal trainer, and he was coming after me for advice for stuff. And he's like, is $1 worth more or less now? And I go, man, that's a really hard question to answer very simply.
Yes.
The answer is it depends. Because what $1 could buy you 30 years ago, and the dollar can buy you way more of a thing in certain aspects and way less of a thing, like common goods. It's going to be way less. It's going to be way less. But as far as things go, like you can get something on Amazon for $1.
Right.
That would be like a calculator or something that would cost crazy amounts of money back then. Convenience stuff,
right?
Like phone call. I mean, like anything. Now you go to other places, the dollar is still very strong in most countries. It's very strong. So like it technically buys more, very strongly in other countries. I don't know how to answer that the best way. How would you explain if I asked you, like, is the dollar worth more today, right now, than it used to be?
I would say no.
You would say no straight up.
Because, yeah, I would say no straight up, just because of the printing of money that the government did during the COVID times, the amount of inflation that has happened since then. The dollar is worth less now than it has been. You need more of that dollar for it to go a longer way. And so, in my opinion, if you're looking at U.S. goods and you're buying the U.S.,
which is primarily what he was asking about,
but let's say you go to Canada, right?
Yeah.
So the dollar is probably stronger in that country than it has been in the past.
Correct.
So that's a good way of looking at how is our currency doing against other world currencies.
That's what I looked at it as.
And
if you go to Chile, it's worth like 18 times what a dollar is worth.
And like a lot of people don't understand that the U.S. dollar is like the standard world currency, and kind of getting nervous about China making deals with Russia on using their currency. Russia is one of the biggest miners of Bitcoin, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, because it gets cold up there.
Oh yeah, it's good for
energy and stuff like that. And so I still think there's a way to cryptocurrency in general to overtake USD or currency right now.
You think so? I think that maybe one day we could be looking at a different thing than the dollar as being the primary currency.
Because there's nothing that backs the dollar right now. Good faith in the government.
Good faith in the government and some minor fractional amount in gold.
Barely. And it hasn't been backed by gold since like the 70s or 80s.
Even fractionally? Like,
I have to go back and do my research, but I don't think so. Whereas Bitcoin, you can make transfer from wherever to wherever. And I would say Bitcoin's like the gold, right? And Ethereum is like the dollar. Because Bitcoin holds the value of cryptocurrency. People are like, what's cryptocurrency at today? You look at Bitcoin is the first thing. Yeah. It's the standard, right?
I agree.
And it costs a little bit more to do a transaction on their ecosystem.
Gas,
gas and stuff like that. But when like NFTs, they're starting to do NFTs on Bitcoin. So when you do NFTs on Bitcoin, you inscribe it on Bitcoin like a Satoshi.
Yeah.
Right? And it costs more money to put an NFT on Bitcoin than it does like an Ethereum blockchain. But it's when it's there. So like people are inscribing big NFTs on one of the first mined blocks of Bitcoin. Like how crazy is that? You can actually track that throughout and stuff like that. So that's where the value of Bitcoin comes in, is like the people that are serious about this, they're going to look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin maxis.
I tried to explain NFTs.
Yeah.
I went to a course. I was part of a group called the Circle Group for Sam Taggart. He's a door-to-door specialist. Great dude. Still talk to him every now and then. And he had a class where he had a dude that left this giant company and went and started doing NFTs and stuff and made way more money doing NFTs.
Yeah.
We're talking to dude get paid like millions of dollars a year, and then he goes and makes way more money in NFTs.
Right.
And he went through this long dissertation. And he's like, everyone got it? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, buddy. And because I was an idiot. You know, everyone else was younger and more hip to it and things. And so I had Sam explain it to me. It was way easier in like the NFT process, like being part of it. And he had an NFT for the group that was coming out. And you pay $10,000 to be a part of the group, and you get an NFT, and you get a marker for that or whatever. And there's only so many spots.
Yep.
It's called 30. And of those spots, it was like a golf course membership.
Yeah. So when we look at NFTs on Ethereum, they're done with smart contracts, and they're hosted on like an AWS server and things like that. They're not really inscribed on any blocks on the blockchain. So that's how it differs from Bitcoin. So that's why when you saw Ethereum NFTs, you saw it was easier to get a project launched on the blockchain. The gas fees were a little bit cheaper. And so you had a lot more ruggers in the Ethereum space. So with Bitcoin now going to NFTs, that's where I think you keep the ruggers and the spammers out of the space. And a lot of people like that had joined NFTs with Ethereum have kind of gone away because they made their money or they lost all their money. And now we're going to see the real true projects shine within the Ethereum blockchain.
The few things I want to ask you, one is like what do you see in my industry or my business? You've had like an outside perspective into what I do.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people besides the banker on here that has had an outside perspective of what I do. What do you think that we do well, what we don't do well, what makes us different? Any of that kind of stuff that you've seen over the years. I'm not looking to get stroked, but I'm also wanting to get to people like an outside perspective of like, yeah, we're friends, but you're completely, before 2 months ago, had nothing to do with Perfect Steel.
No, I didn't. I was just a customer, and because we bought from you because it's a good product, and the lifetime warranty and stuff like that, and so, and I felt like it increased the value of our house. That's why we bought it. From an outside perspective, what you do well, you pay your people really well. So. The salespeople get paid really well here. The canvassers get paid well here. I mean, you got to work for it, right?
Yeah.
But you, as a company, reward hard work. I also do like that you're not afraid to take risks within your company. Negatively, probably like you trying to bring roofing in house and not knowing the cost of that, I think was a negative. I think just in general. Not knowing cost on paper is kind of like, hey, that's why I'm here. I understand that. I think you keep a good group of people around. Like you got a lot of good key employees you take care of.
The key employees are everything.
Right. And you treat people like family.
Yeah,
here.
we do.
Even I've not seen you hire someone yet from day one and like how you treat them, but like people who are kind of newer, you go all the way to do things. So like it's when Austin says like it's a family around here, it's a freaking family, man. Like you get invited to things, you go do stuff as a team, you put in the hard work to make sure there's that camaraderie, and a lot of people don't leave. Like, yeah, you did maybe 200 W-2s last year, but you also had, one of your best years. And a lot of that's just people not liking what they do and can't handle.
I'm moving on. This is a stepping stone. Some of these positions is definitely stepping stones.
Yeah.
I don't take it as a negative. When you want to get into canvassing, that should be a stepping stone for you most of the time. Unless you're really good at it, it should be a stepping stone.
And I would say another good thing you do is like, even from when I was a customer, right? I remember I texted you or called you and said, hey, man, the subcontractor that did the roof, like there's just debris everywhere. And that guy was out like the next day picking stuff up in our yard. Like if something's not done right, you're going to make it right.
Yeah.
So you give opportunity to people in the business to whereas if they want to do something, they have an idea, you let them run with it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that could be a fault because sometimes you don't know a price put on that.
Sure.
But
I'll give you an example of that the other day that it happened. We were in a house, elderly gentleman, wanted our roof, needed to make it happen, one of those deals. And he didn't have the cashola. He just didn't have it. So he's like, can I give you $10K? It was like a $30,000 roof. He's like, can I give you $10K in this Nova, this Chevy Nova, 1970 Nova SS?
Yeah.
Not in good nick.
Yeah.
Not in great nick. But I did a quick thing, and I'm like, man, it could be, 10 to $15,000, whatever. And I took it on trade. This could be a win for me if I fix it up, put $10,000 in it, be worth $50,000, and I make money. It could be an absolute loss depending on how it goes. But I like that I try stuff to meet people where they're at, and not be so cutthroat and be like, nah, it's this or the highway. I like to give people a chance to get my product. A lot of other competitors, they do credit pulls on people before they go out, and I think that it's an American product, and I think it gives all Americans a shot at fucking doing it. I mean, our requirements for us to come out is you just have to have income. Like it's fine. I don't care if it's $10 a week or whatever. Like, we'll just you must have some kind of income, whether Social Security or disability, something. You must have some kind of income. And credit checks are now, because we've had people before that have marginalized credit, but to pay cash for the roof because they've used their credit so heavily and they don't have any more credit to use. And I think that a lot of they won't have that. We'll hear stories of where the competitors won't come out,
right?
And they pay us $30,000 in cash to go do the roofs. And I like that we just take chances like that, and we try to make stuff happen. I remember how the ice cream truck happened. Is where a guy just wanted to get rid of his camper. Basically, it was a shuttle bus, and he just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we built it into the cost, and we bought it, and like $1,000. I put $6,000 in it. And now it's an ice cream truck, and we're giving away free ice cream. And it's been a cool thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing you do is you're not afraid to like adapt to what's needed. And whereas other people in the industry might be like, oh, I'm not going to go give away a car, or oh, I'm not going to go post on social media. Oh, I'm not going to go give free stuff away for leads. Whereas you're like, hey, I see people doing this in other industries. I'm going to go try it.
Yeah,
Like,
it must be working for somebody.
So for me, like I'm learning digital marketing, right? Because for my consulting company, I'm like, hey, I want to reach other people outside of Fort Wayne or, where I'm at. So I'm learning how to be present on social media more.
This will help.
Yeah, this helps. But like that's how you reach people now. Is like you got to do stuff out of the box.
The
So I think
common pay Google, pay the internet services, SEO stuff. That's going away. You still have to have a presence on all these things, but I mean, it's so marginalized. $500 a month is what I spend on those things. Like it's nothing. To meet people at their door, meet them in their neighborhoods, meet them wherever they are, on whatever turf they decide to be on. That's where I'm going to be. So if it's TikTok, I'll be on TikTok. If it's going to be on Facebook, I'll be on Facebook.
Right.
I don't care. Whatever the new medium is, that's what I'll be. Like 10 years ago, it was Home Advisor and Angie's List.
Yeah.
If you weren't on those things, then you weren't going to make any money.
Right.
And, since then, it's become a lot more cutthroat in those industries. They get blown out.
Yeah.
And so the people find new ways to do stuff. And so I like to follow those things. I remember being on the internet and seeing 8880 or something like that, some T-shirt company that were giving away Lamborghinis and stuff like that for nothing and $60,000 in cash. And I'm like, man, they're selling fucking T-shirts.
Do you remember the Diesel Bros? Diesel Bros?
Absolutely.
So they, their model, right? They get people to sign up for those truck giveaways, and there's so many people to sign up for it, and it pays for the truck build and stuff like that, and then they give it away, and it's free advertisement, and they have this forum and all this other stuff. So I do like that you're kind of breaking the industry standards of like an old, and I'm going to put you in like the GC stuff just because it's like, I hate to do that, but that's just kind of what we're in, right? And so, but you're doing things outside of people selling roofs to get leads to attract people. And when a salesperson comes in to the house, it's an hour or two. They love the product they're selling. You talk to the salespeople here, and they love the product. They love selling it. They can stand behind the product, and so you've done that really well. So I think the only other negative is that or what you could do better is just systems, and that's why we're trying to build
the final systems.
Even systems from how many coils should we be keeping, right? Even year-end stuff. So right now, for example, like you have jobs that go into the next year. So we're trying to figure out a way to compare apples to apples comparison on a square cost from year to year with those job carryovers and things like that. Something that we haven't done in the past, but like it takes time to set up those systems towards then by the end of this year, we should know, hey, here's stuff that's carrying over. Here's our expenses into this past year. So we can do an analysis to see, hey, do we need to raise prices? What can we do here? And stuff like that. So I think having those systems in place from even just material on hand or should we hedge our fuel? What does that look like since you're paying after salespeople are here for a year, like you're paying that. So like,
you don't think I've looked into what it would be to get a buried tank or pigger over here, like of diesel or of gasoline and fill up here? Like I've definitely looked into it. Like I don't know. Like, because I don't have the back data to prove that it would work or whatever. I just have the credit card bills of what it would be.
And now we're going to get into
spend like $180,000 in gas or something. You told me fuel anyway.
Yeah.
It was just
last year was $400,000.
$400,000 in fuel.
Yeah, last year,
in just fuel.
But
it sounds cool selling $10 million worth of product, but I mean, $500,000 of that is fuel.
Yeah, but that's because you brought in roofing in house too.
Yeah.
So you had diesel trucks to deal with.
3 more box trucks.
Right. And so there's and a lot of times there's like, sometimes we can't even cut into that, but what do we need to do to hedge our risk with a variable fuel price if we're paying salespeople their gas for the whole year? That's something that we need to look at and understand and make sure and stuff like that. Cause we never want a salesperson to leave because we're lowering commissions. We don't want to do that.
No.
We got to figure out other ways to look at things. So that's why I'm coming in and looking at those costs. And I think like you said at the start, it's like, how far is too far? Are we charging enough to the customer to make sure it's making up our fuel costs? Is our team going to a job 3 hours away 4 times a week because they forgot something? Like, what does that look like?
Right.
And so those are more efficiencies and systems we can put in place, but it's then the people need to follow the system for it to go in. And that's,
I think that like in a podcast in a month or two, when we have some more of this stuff figured out, it'd be super cool to come back on here and be like, these are 5 things. Let's put it like 5 things like that. We're going to come back in like 2 or 3 months. Towards the end of the year, and we go back in here. These are 5 things that Pedersen found that could be a factor in either cost savings for the customer, cost savings for us, all the way around. I think that's a huge. I had a guy ask me today that was looking at the building, Dragon. I think I mentioned him earlier, but he came and looked at some stuff because he makes manufactured buildings, and he was like, well, how many metal dumpsters do you go through? Like, how much are you throwing away? I go, I don't know. We don't actually have one. And he goes, you just throwing it away? I'm like, yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, we don't have that much scrap. I mean, they go use the product. We measure the houses pretty accurately, and they don't have that much product. But he goes, but you did all this around the top. We put panels on the top of the building for insulation and stuff and to finish out the building. And he's like, what are you going to do with the rest? And I go, I don't know, but probably take it to one of those restores or something like that and get a tax credit for it, or I will scrap it or whatever, which will be worth X. And he goes, can't believe that you don't have like a process in place for all this stuff and have a cost per month of like how much I was like, I have no idea.
It's coming.
3 years of just holding on to, like, when customers cancel and I have 30 squares of material, I have thousands of feet of metal that I don't use.
Right.
They pay for it. They pay a cancellation fee of anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000. So I mean, it's paid for. But then could we be capitalizing on that at all?
Right.
We can't cut it down always. It's sometimes more labor intensive to go take panels that are 18 foot and make them all 14 foot or 14.5 or 14.1.
Right.
And make them look really nice. So we just make more panels because that's what the customer wants.
Right.
And so, like, we should have a system in place for what happens to all the extra. I mean, we probably have 10,000 feet of probably a couple coils worth of panels that we'll never use. What do we do with them?
Right.
I don't know if that's a big bottom line number that will, but if we're talking a couple $1,000, every year, that could be, a lot to go to the bottom line.
Yeah, even like, let's just take, for example, your line of credit, because we talked about that earlier, because you haven't paid that down since, like, you bought the first couple coils. So, like, back then, interest rate was like 3.5%, 4%. It's doubled, right? So this year, if you pay it all out for the year, you're going to pay like 10 to 12 grand in interest on coils that have been used 2017.
Yeah.
It's like those have been used. So, like, revolving that line and paying that down can save you money on the interest rate. Like, if you did it today, you could probably save another $3,500 to $4,000 for the year on your interest. That's money saved.
Yeah, it's not negligible at all.
If you find a couple 4,000 to 10,000, you only got to find 5 of those a year, right? For 20 to 50 grand, 10 for 50 to 100 grand.
Yeah, and it's like, do we buy way more gutter coils at once? Because like, I'm buying a pallet of them, I think there are 5 of them on a pallet at once. It makes sense to buy 20 pallets at one time. We're going to go through them. It's white gutters for most of the stuff. Does that make sense? And having someone to look over that kind of stuff is really useful to me, because like, we're just kind of hand to mouth in it. Like, we really want to run lean. We really don't want to have a whole bunch of waste, around here, and things get damaged when they sit around the factory and stuff like that. But like, what is the real? Can we put anything more to the bottom line? Can we make the customers? Can we be more efficient?
Right.
Should we buy in hotel rooms for the things that are 2.5 hours away? Should we get in hotel rooms for the roofing guys? Will that make them? Is that a break even on gas and 2 hours there, 2 hours back every day? That kind of stuff. And you really can't do that if that's not your forte. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I have never bashfully been like, dude, you don't need to look at that because I already have that under control. I know that I don't. I know that I haven't looked at those things, and I won't be able to look at them correctly because I didn't have, the training, and I didn't have the schooling.
I love figuring out problems, and I love creating spreadsheets that show the data. So, like for example, my machine guy, he wanted to bring in a robot in house, but we did an analysis on efficiency and how much it's going to cost him, and it doesn't make sense. So we did the math, and robots roughly are 80% efficient. Your average worker, he said he could get roughly 50%, probably more like 40%. So you're picking up double efficiency on it, right? And you don't have to pay the robot overtime.
Right.
When we got down to it, he was paying the robot like 10 to 11 bucks an hour. Pretty cheap. And then we did a payback on it. Like, obviously there's going to be some setup time getting used to everything, right? So like, I think in the first year or two, he could have that robot paid off with just profits from running the robot.
Nuts.
So like, that's the stuff that I love doing and figuring out.
Right.
Again, you've got a lot of going on here because you've got your own, you've got the gutters, you got the windows, you got the roofs, that takes time to look at. Then you've got your personnel you can bring in house. So like, I think finding the biggest, easier stuff, like I'm trying to think, low hanging fruit is going to be the easiest. So we'll start with that, and then we'll dig into the more of the system stuff. So I'm excited to continue to work with you. So
No, I'm excited to work with you. I'm glad you came on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's been fun. Sorry that we took so many breaks. Next
That's
time
fine,
I will
dude.
plan
That's
better
okay.
and we'll be more set up. Thank you for the amazing cigar. It lasted
What'd
the
you
entire
think?
time. I thought it was smooth. I thought it didn't have like crazy amount of flavor or anything like that. But I thought it was, really smooth. It smoked, it breathed really well. It's probably due to your humidification and stuff that you had it perfect. But I thought it was
a lot of hayish type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drier, but mellow, grassier notes.
Would you pay $400 for this?
No,
I wouldn't
absolutely
either.
not,
No,
dude.
I wouldn't either.
Absolutely not. No, I want to be real with you. Like,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. It's a good cigar. I couldn't boast to my friends like, bro,
I agree.
like these are the best. Like if you smoke a Bahiki and you smoke this, which what I would assume, like, when you get into this caliber of things is what I
Yeah.
always compare it to. I'm like, it's a different ball game.
I'd rather smoke a Bahiki though.
I'd rather smoke a Bahiki.
So I would agree with you. So Noah, you'll have to ask. He didn't like it. He bought one off me. Well, he went in with me when I did the buy and stuff like that and stuff. I think he bought one or
Yeah.
two just to try it, and he smoked it like right away.
It was probably better. Maybe.
See, usually, I don't know.
There's a certain time limit on cigars.
I think I
though.
might have two left, so maybe we'll have to like do another like in 2 or 3 years. We'll have to smoke them or something.
I don't know, man. You might want to sell them at that point. You recoup the entire box.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be the way to go. I really haven't bought any really expensive cigars in a minute, for a lot of different reasons. But one, I got 4,000 cigars from Noah.
Yep.
So like, gonna be working through those for a minute. And then like, as far as everyday smokes, I smoke 4 cigars a day or something like that. So
Do you?
yeah. Yeah, but they're the Principes and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Real small ones. Lightest gauge, that's still a cigar. And it helps zen me. I think it's part of my personality at certain points now, like when I do an interview and things like that.
Yeah.
I light one up and I get to relax and be in the moment with that person. I think that I get caught up in everything, putting out fires all day and handling business, that it's hard for me. So when I center myself with the cigar, it's not meditation per se, but like I get focused on that person. Like, all right, Pedersen, tell me about why you want to work here and why you think you'd be good. And I'm in the zone. I'm not thinking about anything else than smoking the cigar and talking to you.
Yep.
And it's helpful for me. Like, it's really helpful. And like the other day, I found myself at 2:00 at home, which never happens.
Yep.
In the afternoon.
Yeah. Right.
And I got on my computer, I started smoking a cigar in the barn, and I got so much stuff done because I'm just centered. I'm not here. There's not a bunch of stuff going on.
Yep.
In the factory. There's no people dropping stuff or making product or asking me questions every 3 seconds or
Yep.
complaining. I'm like, I'm in my zone right now, smoking a cigar. Nobody else is home. I'm in it.
Yep.
And I really enjoy that part of cigars. I'm probably gonna get away with it, not doing it, but like it's so easy to do it
Yeah.
for me, and I really enjoy it. People ask me, like, aren't you worried about dying? I'm like, I'm not inhaling it. So at some point, I'm mitigating my effects, but, you know.
We're going to die of something someday, right? Just
That's-
enjoy life while you're at it.
That's true. That's a good one. We could end on that one. Be like, just enjoy your life.
I agree with that.
You
I
know?
mean,
You're not going to be able to take anything with you.
No.
So like, let's start there. And then it's all your culmination of all the memories you've ever had. So I would be more apt to make memories smoking cigars with people that I care about and people that are interesting than being a homebody and just going to sleep at 6 o'clock every night and,
Yep.
you know, waking up, doing your job and dying early. I'd rather, you know, stay up late and have cool podcasts with cool people
Yep.
and get to know my employees better. This has been a really cool thing to get to know the people that I work with even better.
Yeah.
I mean, not Jimmy and Zach because obviously they're my best friends and stuff.
Right.
But even like finding hidden talents. But like Alan, one of my salespeople and stuff. Like we have a fairly new relationship where he's only worked for us like I think it's just 3 months was up a couple days ago, and like just be able to get the nuanced perspective on his life. I mean, growing up, you know, being the only black guy in fucking Idaho or wherever he was, and like going in, being in Church of Latter-day Saints and being Mormon and, you know, and doing all that stuff and telling me the ins and outs of that and like where he comes from in the solar industry and like the ins and outs of that business. Like I don't have time during the day to have those long drawn out conversations all the time, but I can do this in a podcast in such an effective way where I'm sitting here and go, tell me for the next 10 minutes, like what this new on the subject that you only know because it happened to your life stuff. And he could go on a tangent. And I'm like, bro, I would have never known that about you because like it's something that, you know, whenever you stay up late night drinking with your buddies and stuff like that, there's only certain stuff that you talk about.
Right.
And when you're alone with some guy, you don't really bring up like that kind of, but a podcast brings out the best stuff because it's your stories.
I agree.
Like I went, last podcast, I went on and on about when I worked at the recycling place in Jacksonville that I loved.
Yeah.
You know, and I got really excited about it because that was my favorite job I've ever had. You know, and like that was something that if you talk to me for 20 times and we had long night, I still probably wouldn't bring it up. But a podcast brings out something that is a cool story and like your father stuff. I mean, we've been friends for years now. Besides, I knew your dad died, but like I don't really know what that meant to you, how close you were. You don't know what people mean to each other.
Right.
In common conversation. I like that. I like that. The roofers want to be on here. The canvassers want to be on here. The salespeople want to be on here, and they give them a chance to shine. And hopefully, someone at home finds some modium of worth, you know, when they listen to this. I'm not doing it to get famous, or not doing it to get for notoriety, or to even make money. I just want it to drive media. We'll get snippets of this and use it for our stuff. But like, I'm getting a lot out of it because now my time with people aren't wasted, or at least making some kind of content or something like that when we stay late at the factory and talk.
Yep.
So
I think it's been great.
I'm glad that you liked this. Is your first, like, you've done some podcasts and they've been great, but you do a lot of on the computer webcam to webcam.
I've never done an in-person podcast.
Yeah,
so this has
is
been
the first
fun,
one.
dude. It's I host a podcast show where I interview ordinary people who've become extraordinary traders.
Okay.
And understand their story before trading and how they found trading and kind of how they made it in trading and the lessons they learned along the way. So it's been really helpful. And for me, just to get to know people that had influenced me in trading. And I've got some influencers that I've recorded. I'm waiting to release those until I get a little bit more content. But I've got a couple episodes out there. But it's been fun. Creating content is hard as well. So
I don't think so, but this could be the worst content of all time. So, like,
well, you've got 3 cameras set up, good microphones, a nice lights and stuff. The normal person can't just go out and buy this.
Yeah, everyone can get this. It's very, you know, maybe not to this degree, but you can do this. But I don't even know if this is going to be good content. Like, I don't know. I think that the easygoing pace and the stuff, if they're looking for something to get out of every single podcast, they probably won't get it. But if they like listening to me, they like where it's going, they want to stay up to beat on the business, they want to meet the people behind the scenes and things like that, I think that might be good for them. I think this might be helpful for some customers in the future that want to do business with me and be more approachable. Like, you know, when you do the largest investment you're going to do on your home, like, you probably want to do some background on somebody.
Yep.
And I think this is a fine way to get, and people may not like me. I mean, people be like, that dude's an idiot. And that's fine. I think everyone has a perspective, but it makes me way more approachable, I think, in the marketplace.
Yeah.
You trust the devil you know more than the devil you don't. And what I mean by that is like, there's a lot of times where people will choose the thing that they know that's not doing them any good rather than taking a chance on something new that might also be bad. They'll just keep with it. So like, you know, at least they know me, you know, they'll know who I am, what I'm about. I've had fucking 12, 13 people on now, all of them praise. I mean, it's not like they would come on here and be like, I hate working here or something like that. But it's hard to fake that. To that level, it's hard to fake.
Yeah.
Somebody would be like, come on, man. Like, this is not real. This is a farce. I'm just here because I don't want to get fined. One of those things.
I'm just here.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm just here so.
So Pedersen, how are we doing? I'm just here so I won't get fined. You know, like it's one of those things, and I enjoy that part of having the first time a customer buys from us and they're like, I bought because your podcast. I'm gonna be head over heels.
Yeah.
It's all going to be worth it.
I agree with that.
It's only worth it. And I put my photographer, videographer to work, my editor to work, all that kind of stuff. I'm bringing all that stuff in-house.
Yep.
He gets to work from home. I love all that.
That's great.
I love all that. And I hope that we get sponsors. We have a couple apparel people looking at us. So if you want to get on board on apparel, we'll wear that shit during the process. We'll put the roofing crews, the window crews, or whoever else you want to wear the apparel. We'll put that on there. I'm only looking for pretty much like $1,000 an episode sponsor.
What about an ice cream truck sponsor?
There's no more ice cream trucks.
Huh?
You know that, right?
What?
We'll talk about it. So
okay,
we start an ice cream truck. Background story: you start an ice cream truck that gives away free ice cream.
Yeah.
We target the neighborhoods that we want to go hit.
Yeah.
And we go being like a fresh introduction, a warm introduction before the canvassers get to that neighborhood and knock on your door. There's a chance that ice cream truck went through your neighborhood, gave away free ice cream to all the kids in the neighborhood. Blah blah blah.
You don't want anyone sponsoring.
And it's a cool giveaway. Like, it doesn't cost anything. I give them information along with the ice cream cone, and we're good. Well, I didn't get super excited about it until like 3 weeks ago, because you live in Eden, Ohio or something?
Yeah, Eden, Ohio.
Place. When's the last time you heard an ice cream? Now, you live out in the country, but when's the last time you heard an ice cream truck?
It's been a while. It's not a thing anymore, like you said?
There's no more.
Oh, my God.
COVID killed out all the ice cream truck business. We might be, I don't know for a fact, we might be the only ice cream truck in existence in Indiana. Besides, like, nuanced stuff where you have, like, soft serve people that go to parties and things like that. There's no, as it is right now, standard ice cream truck with a kid in there selling ice cream. There's just, that doesn't exist. So I'm bringing back American nostalgia.
That's right.
I'm reaching customers that you would normally not reach, and I'm doing it because it's fun. You know, it's a cool thing. No one else is doing. I might be the only person doing it.
It's great.
And if it works, I'll do 10 ice cream trucks next year. It's not that expensive as far as, like, you know, as marketing cost goes. I have competitors that spend $1 million a year on the, like, news, being in, like, the NCAA madness stuff and, like, Super Bowl, you know, all that stuff. Costs a lot of money.
It does.
I can give away ice cream at $1 a unit, you know?
Or a car.
Well, I mean, $180,000 a unit. But, like, the ice cream is $1 a unit. Mm-hmm. And I pay someone $20 an hour to go give away ice cream, and they give away media. It costs me $9 in gas a day. That's cheap.
Yep.
During the 5 months out of the year, it's super hot in Indiana. I'm game.
I agree.
And I think it'd be a cool, and again, when someone buys from me because I gave away ice cream, I'm going to look like a genius.
I know.
It's
going to happen. You know
it's
that.
It's going to happen. I just got to be patient for it. I thought, like, the first day I go out, I'm going to get like 100 leads, you know? No, it didn't happen like that. But we did have a lot of people. I'll just share this experience. This is the first time I can talk about it on camera. Is the first day he went out, it was a guy who didn't make it in gutters. Super nice guy, went on to do basketball coaching, but it's only part-time.
Yeah.
And so on the weekends, he's free. He goes out and takes the ice cream truck out and gives away all this ice cream. He'll find, 8-year-old birthday parties where there's like 80 kids. And dude, you don't think I'm the hottest thing in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
When I pull up with free ice cream for 80 kids,
yeah,
I'm the coolest person in the world.
Heck yeah.
And I get really nice people following up on that on Instagram, Facebook, things like that, saying, I don't know what you guys are doing, but this was awesome. It made our whole days, blah, blah, blah. I'll live rent-free in those people's minds.
Yep.
Even if ice cream trucks come back, they're going to think it's me.
I agree.
And you can't put a price on that.
No.
And so I'm super excited about that. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah. I think it will.
I don't think I lose on that one.
No.
The car, I'm going to lose. The car, I'm going to lose.
We'll see.
The car I'm going to lose right now, unless it takes off the rest of the year, I'll lose. But it'll still be cool brand recognition. It'll still be cool media-wise. People posting asphalt roof, metal roof, over and over again. No one cares.
Yep.
You know, Ford GT, ice cream truck, something different.
Yep. I think it's cool.
I like it. Well, I'll let you have a long drive home.
That's all right.
We're gonna call it quits. Is there anything else you want to say to the people? You want to plug you got a new website? You got anything like that? You want to plug it?
Yeah, I would just say if you're a small business and looking for some help with financial analysis, you don't want to deal the numbers. You want to work in sales. You want to make your own product. Look me up. I'm willing to help. First call is pretty much free on me, and go through your company, and we'll see if we can do something for you. So,
all right, Eric Pedersen, Tyler Pedersen. It's been fun.
Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it.
Thanks.